Simple Summer Session is back for a second year in Riga, Latvia. 18 years and counting, Simple Session delivers the highest level of BMX action in the sun. This year we have a field packed with top riders from all over the world ready to do battle here in Latvia. So stay hydrated because the heat is about to start. Welcome to Simple Summer Session 2018, which for the first time takes place on a permanent skate park here in Riga, Latvia. I'm James Threlfoot, and joining me live on Red Bull TV, we have BMX legend Chris Doyle. We have 12 of the best street BMX riders here, ready to do battle in the finals today. Chris, how excited are you for today's event?
I'm so excited, James, and it's just great to be here in Riga with you today. I mean, it's a beautiful city, we have a great skate park, and we have some of the best BMX street riders in the world.
Absolutely, it's going to be crazy. I mean, we've both been to the winter event before. It's very different. It's super cold, it's snowing. Just how different is it to be out here in the sun in Latvia today?
Well, we're outside in the elements, and this is more true to what a lot of these guys ride. I mean, this is a street course. There's ledges, stairs, rails, things of that nature. So these guys are really, really comfortable being here today.
Sure thing, and it is solely street. We do not have any park out here, Chris. It is crazy. And we are also running a super unique contest format here today, right? Talk us through that a little bit when it comes up on the screen, Chris.
Well, I mean, we have 4 heats. There's 12 riders. There's 1 minute runs, best run counts, each rider gets 2 runs, and then we have the best trick section where each rider has 3 attempts to get a best trick. So it's really anyone's game. The playing field has been leveled. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Sure, and I mean, it's absolutely crazy because the best trick counts for as much as the run, right? So how on earth are the guys that are more consistent on the runs going to match up against those guys that are more into the hammers, the individual tricks out there?
Well, you have to have a little bit of everything. You have to be really consistent, and you have to have those big bangers. And luckily, we have a lot of guys that are capable here. I mean, there's guys that can lay down some serious runs, as well as doing really hard tricks, and that's what it's going to take to win this type of contest.
And speaking of which, we actually heard from a bunch of the guys. We went out for a session with them and listened to what they had to say about the contest format.
I really like that the best trick counts as much as the best run because there's less pressure on me to land things first try because some things it's really hard to do first try. So consistency is important, but not as important as coming up with a really cool idea and getting it done. And if you get that idea done, then you're rewarded for it.
But that format is amazing because the runs themselves are really difficult, but the best trick where you have a couple goes to really try something that may be a little bit out of your difficulty range or something that you're maybe a little scared of, it definitely pumps you up to go for something like that in front of a lot of people because it's nerve-wracking to ride in front of however many people, you know?
So the riders are excited, we're excited, but we were stood behind the judges yesterday and they were being quite harsh, right? It has to be flawless runs out here.
It's a little bit cutthroat. Perfection is key. Consistency is key. You have to have a little bit of everything. Do the hard tricks. Don't slip your pedals. Don't put your feet on the ground. And keep your run moving.
Now, we have 4 expert judges here from the Baltics, and you had the chance to catch up with one of them yesterday. Let's check out how that went. Okay, so we're having some slight issues loading that piece right now, Chris. But what did you think of qualifications? As we said, we were stood behind the judges yesterday and we saw just how ruthless things were being. So we can kind of think about like what those guys were looking for and equally why those top 12 dudes made it through.
Well, yeah, I'm going to echo my same thing over and over today. It's all about consistency, doing difficult tricks, and perfection is key, and that's what it's going to take to win.
And some standout things from qualifiers for you?
Well, definitely. I mean, we had Mr. Gaspar Gwendalain I mean, coming to us from Argentina, a little bit of a dark horse, came out of one of the first groups and held on to that first place qualifying spot for such a long time. He got the crowd on their feet early, and it was really fun to watch a relatively unknown guy do his thing. And of course, Mr. Reed Stark. I mean, from the great state of Minneapolis, coming all the way here to Riga to be a part of this event. Awesome to have him out here. He's so unique, he's so original, and he goes twice as fast as just about anyone else on the course. And we can't forget our first place qualifier, Mr. Courage Adams. Courage covers more ground on one wheel than a lot of guys do on two. It's really fun to watch him ride. He brings a little bit of flatland elements to it, and that's why he's our first place qualifier.
So, I mean, three very different riding styles there for sure, Chris. One guy we have to mention is the Frenchman, Anthony Perrine. He rode super well at a simple session in winter in Estonia. He got through to the finals out of about 80 guys, but unfortunately he did just have a few falls. He's going to be back with a score to settle here at Simple Summer Session, right?
Anthony is here for redemption. I mean, and we know what he's capable of. I mean, we see him do some good riding at every simple session. I mean, you can see it right here. You know that he's got the skills, but of course there's bobbles in everyone's riding. He would love to come up and make up for that mess up back in the winter simple session. And sometimes you miss a beat, you lose the rhythm, and you just can't find it again. He had to settle for 9th place there, but he's here today, and he's in the finals, and he's going to redeem himself.
Well, absolutely. He's made the cut, so we're all really rooting for him here today. Another person that we absolutely have to mention is the silent assassin, Travis Hughes. He's a more quiet, humble guy on the course. What do you think of Travis's riding?
I love Travis's riding. He's super fun to watch. He's really, really casual. It never really looks like he's trying that hard, but trust me, the tricks that he's doing are very, very difficult.
Well, I'm glad to say as well, we have the third member of our team. She's become known as an Estonian secret weapon. We're going to throw down to Tuli, who is with Travis now.
Congratulations, Travis. You qualified second yesterday. Well done. You've been to winter session 3 times before. This is your first time at Simple Summer Session. What do you think of the course?
The course is really cool. It's got a lot of obstacles to offer. It's really small. A lot of stuff's really fun, though. It reminds me of my home park back in Huntington Beach, so I got that going for me.
So I've been talking to a few riders, and some of them say that you might win this year. What do you think of that?
I think they're crazy. No, but it's cool. Just qualify and ride finals today, because that never happens for me. So it's cool to be out here and riding with all these amazing riders.
So compared to your qualifying run yesterday, are you planning on changing anything in your finals run today?
I didn't plan on making finals, but now that I did, I'm going to have to plan on changing some stuff in my runs.
Well, looking very much forward to seeing you in the finals, and good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
So we've seen what it took for some of those 12 guys to make it through to finals today. They're going to have to up the ante, though. As we've mentioned already, the judges are being super harsh out there. They want to see perfection. What's it going to take?
Well, I mean, it's a combination of a lot of things. I mean, we have the hard trick element, so these guys have to have the hard tricks, and they have to have the consistent runs. It's going to be difficult for them, but I think overall we're going to have the right guy. I mean, and speaking of right guys, look, Mr. Nathan Williams, who absolutely killed it in qualifying yesterday. Check out this bar spin over the rail, and he was doing lines that no one else was doing. Check this out. Big gap to nose wheel. He's the only guy we saw doing that. Originality counts for a lot here.
Definitely, people were going wild for Nathan, for sure. So essentially, you bunked off work the other day, man. We know you went out with Nathan. It was filmed. You checked out some of the course. Let's see what the different obstacles have to offer and what Nathan's favorite picks were around this park here in Riga.
All right, Nathan, show us some of the elements here on the simple session course.
All right, let's go get it. Follow me.
And we're here at the A-frame rail. What can we expect to see on an obstacle like this?
Well, the A-frame rails are really cool because it's not like your typical flat rail. So you got a nice like launch to a rail, or you got something where you can grind up the rail and launch to flat, or up and down kind of thing. So it makes it a little bit more unique. And with this particular one, you also have the pole jam to the left of it, and it's to the side of the A-frame rail. And so it adds a lot more. You can do the pole jam and possibly transfer over to the A-frame. Pretty unique for a skate park, that's for sure.
So you're telling me there's a ton of options for this particular obstacle, huh?
Oh, most definitely. It's gonna be something that's hit really hard over the weekend, and it's gonna be great to watch.
All right, let's go see the next one.
Let's get it.
All right, Nathan, tell me a little bit about this portion of the course. I mean, this is a large part of the simple session course. I see stairs, I see rails, I see ledges. I mean, it looks like a whole lot of action can go down right here.
Yeah, it's honestly a pretty unique setup for a skate park because you got two perfect up and down rails with the hubbas right next to it, which create a lot of opportunities for combos from one to the other. And then you also got these 4 obstacles right here, so you can, manual to the lower rails, the down rails with the flat, and then you also have out ledges, which create a lot of opportunities, just to link up lines. It's a pretty unique.
This seems like something that the judges are really going to be looking at for like the lines and the links and everything like that.
Street riding these days has definitely become very technical, which is a lot of manuals and a lot of like links between different tricks, and so which is really hard to do, and kids these days are really, really good at it. So it's going to be great to watch what goes down.
Well, thanks a lot, Nathan, for taking the time to talk with us a little bit about this course, and I think I speak on behalf of everybody when I say I can't wait to watch you ride.
Yeah, well, thanks, Chris. I'm excited.
So without a doubt, this year's Simple Summer Session is set to be super unique, without a doubt. We have 12 guys. We've heard from a few of them. Let's take a look at the rest of those guys that are going to be in the final today.
Well, we have locals and legends alike. I mean, we have just a stacked field of 12 individual riders here. And there's a few guys that I want to talk about. I want to talk about guys like Anthony Perrin, a guy that we mentioned before. He's out for redemption. He wants to come here and really do well, especially to be back at Simple Session. I want to talk a little bit about how about Max Ciprina, a guy that is a silent assassin in and of himself. I mean, he doesn't mess up a lot. It's almost hard for him to mess up sometimes, and he's really fun to watch. And of course, Reed Stark, the guy that rides a little bit faster than just about everyone else on the course. Watch out for him. A lot of originality, a lot of creativity, and a lot of speed.
And what about Courage Adams? He qualified in first. He's going to want to keep hold of that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Courage is looking strong. He could definitely pull off a win here if he puts it together today.
He has been linking up lines. We're going to be backing him, of course. We are going to cut to a commercial break, and we'll be back with the contest right after in a few minutes' time.
Šobrīd vēl pāris minūtes braucējiem ir iespēja iesildīties.
Okay.
So, welcome back to Simple Summer Session 2018. Chris, I'm super excited because we are just about to get things underway. And we are also equally seriously excited because Estonia, the home of Simple Session, celebrates its 100th birthday today, and so does Latvia. I mean this year, sorry, I shouldn't say today. It's probably not exactly today.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, in both, I'll speak about the Estonian BMX scene and the Latvian BMX scene, and they're always so welcoming and accommodating. So congratulations on 100 years.
For sure, 100 years, and Simple Session has been a part of that for so many now, and that really has done a huge amount for the scene, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, guys look forward to these type of contests all year round, and I know a lot of guys from the States love to come over to these contests to ride in front of the European crowd, and it's always so welcoming and so good. I mean, look, we have a packed crowd already.
Yeah, it's unreal. This is the biggest crowd we've seen all weekend. And it has to be said as well, we had some rain delays yesterday. I think we overran by a few hours in qualifiers because we were held back. But it's 25 degrees out there and the guys are ready to go. Chris, talk us through the first guys in this heat.
Well, the first guy to set it off is Max Bispali. I mean, he comes to all of these simple sessions. He's a regular here. It's good to see him in the final. He had a few problems in qualifying, but he's here in the finals. He just made his way in. He qualified in that 12th position, so he's the first guy to go. He's probably a little bit nervous, but he has to just rise above it and put together some clean and consistent runs.
Sure thing. And as we've said, of course, the guys will be kicking off with a 1 minute run. They will get 2 attempts to score the best score they can before they move into the best trick section, where they will see 3 attempts at 1 trick. Max just currently hyping up the crowd. Getting all going, it's working as well.
Yeah, I know he's excited to set this whole thing off. It's going to be, you can really set the tone of a contest by the first run. So in a sense, he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but I mean, he can rise above it and just put together a good run, do some good tricks, and it's going to be exciting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. And it's worth noting as well, it's not easy to be that guy, that first guy to come out, because that's what the judges base their scores on. You kind of set the mark for everyone else to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. And the judges, it's really a task for them too, because how do you score the first guy? You have no one to score him against. So really, every other score in the contest becomes a score against this score. So Max is in, he's starting clean, feeble to manual down the rail.
Taking it easy was his first run.
Showing you that nose wheelie up and over the rail. Then going over to ice pick down. Little bar spin on the bank there, just, you know, being really casual, taking his time.
I have to say, he did look like one of the more casual guys out there. Probably looked like he was taking it the easiest out of anyone that made it into the finals. But I think that's just his smooth style, isn't it?
Yeah, taking it easy, but trust me, a lot of these tricks are really difficult. And you're going to hear us talk about opposite tricks a lot. That means they're doing things on both sides of the bike. They're throwing the bars in both directions. They're kicking tail whips in both directions. And unfortunately, we saw him slip off the back there a little bit. But Max is another one of those guys that makes it really difficult to know what is opposite and what is regular, because all these guys run 4 pegs and they make everything look so casual.
That is just the progression right now, isn't it? That's the way this is going, that everything is just done either which way.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's probably going to be time there for Max. He took a couple of falls there. What do you think the judges are going to think of that, Chris?
Well, unfortunately, he had to step off on a couple occasions, so I don't think he's going to get his most desired score. But again, he's probably got all those nerves running through him, and he really just, you know, and it's exhausting out there. It doesn't look as tiring as it is, but trust me, a minute is a long time.
Yeah, sure. So we're looking over some replays now. It's always good to get the slow-mo replays, so that you can kind of really break down tricks, and the camera's cut to different angles, so you can kind of see things from some other directions here.
Yeah, like this is the crank arm slide to ice pick bonk at the very end. That was probably the banger of his run.
Yeah.
But I know he has more in the tank.
So easy to catch that peg on the way up. So Max Bispali getting a 43.5. He is, of course, sat in first right now, but that's probably not going to hold out for the rest of these heats, is it?
No, and even Max wants to do better than that.
Absolutely. So our next guy in is Kristaps Reimanis out of Latvia. He is the hometown hero out here, right?
Yeah, he's from Latvia, and a few of my teammates actually came through with the Kink Bicycles team, and this guy really impressed a lot of people. And he's putting a lot out there on the web right now, and he's really turning a lot of heads. Watch for a lot of rail rides. He loves to put both tires on the rail, and to do that, you have to be really precise. He's going to make it look easy, but trust me, it is no easy task to do these rail rides, especially the combinations that he does in and out of them. So this is going to be really interesting to watch him ride, because I know he can do rail ride up to tail whip, and it's going to be cool to see if he incorporates that into his run. Oh man,
that's no good way to open your run. He'll be hoping to step it up from here.
He was going for that pegs up to opposite 180 look back, but unfortunately had to step off.
It's okay. It's the first run. You sometimes see these first run nerves, and then guys just come back in the second like, right, I've got that one out of the way. But he's smiling. He's having a great time out here. I mean, it's 25 degrees. The sun's shining. You can't complain too much.
Yeah, it is hot on that skate park too. Trust me. On that concrete, you start sweating. And it's really bright. These guys have been out here all weekend riding. Check them out. There's that rail ride I was talking about, dropping down to double peg, showing you the opposite feeble to 180, trying to end strong, maybe get a couple points with the judges, but I don't know, he stepped off a couple times now, so that might hurt his score.
So he's probably coming in for his final trick now. He might have one more after this.
Tail whip up and over that volcano gap right there. Not the run that Kristaps probably wants, but again, these first runs are all about just shaking off the nerves. We're going to see him back for run number 2, and hopefully he comes back a little bit stronger.
Sure thing. As with Max, I think that's it. It's the warm-up run. They're going to see this as, okay, we're going to brush that one out the way, and run 2, we're really going to have it.
Yeah, a beautiful no-footed can-can, I might say. And there's that rail ride that I was talking about. Pinpoint precision, drops the double peg down the rail.
So we're just waiting for Kristaps' score to come in from his first run out here. Just staying hydrated.
Yeah,
no, or not.
It's like I said, it is hot out there. And you know what? I don't envy those judges one bit, because having to score each individual rider has got to be so tough to place these guys from 1 to 12. And there we have it. So far, Kristaps in second place. That means Max Pasvali is hanging on to that first place position.
Yeah, 39.75. He's definitely going to want to step things up from there. He knows how to. He's just got to put it down today, Chris, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
So our next guy in is going to be a bit of a dark horse out here today, actually. He's a guy called Benjamin Crismariu, and he is coming out of Italy. He was our 10th place qualifier. It's his first time here today in Riga, Latvia, and it is also his first ever simple session experience.
Yeah, and we saw him last night. How excited was he just to make this final and be a part of the simple session final here today? Him and his friends were going nuts last night.
Now, Chris, I mean, I don't want to blow my own trumpet here, but I picked this guy out in practice. We were kind of picking a few guys that we thought were maybe going to get through to final or do pretty well. And I'd watched Benjamin and I'd said, you know, Benjamin is going to come out and tear it. Unfortunately, he has taken the fall right there. But he made it through. Loads of people didn't really know who this guy was. Like I said, it's his first ever simple session experience. And he's made it through to the final in his debut.
Yeah, and kudos to you for being able to pick the one lone rider that I had never heard of out of a sea of highly decorated professionals. This kid is the real deal.
Yeah, and he did also qualify, like Gaspar. He qualified from an earlier heat and had to kind of wait all day. I could see him across the course, sat in the bleachers with his friends, and when that final heat came through and he'd qualified in 10th, him and his friends were just going wild. They had him up in the air.
Yeah, and you know what? He messed up on his first run in qualifying yesterday as well, and then he put it together on his second run. So maybe he's going to be doing the same thing here today, because this first run probably isn't what he wants. So he's going to have to come back stronger for that second run. But still, a lot of impressive tricks. He's showing you that feeble to nose to 360 down the ledge. That is really hard to do. He made it look incredibly easy. But for this format, you need more than just one or two tricks. You need a full pull. And unfortunately for him, he messed up a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, we say this about the first run, and we've said it for the first 3 guys. It's kind of shaking off those nerves. But when those bleachers are full, and the finals, that it's all at stake. It's not just qualification anymore. You haven't just got to make the top 12. The pressure suddenly starts to mount, right?
But that, I mean, he just did a Smith to nose wheelie to 180. That's really difficult, as is this, that feeble nose to bar spin out. I mean, this is tough stuff he's doing, and that's where riding is. It's so technical that it's easy to mess up from time to time, but in a competition format, you need to be on it.
Yeah, well, Benjamin taking a 40.75, which does put him in second place, but he knows he can score better than that.
Yeah, absolutely. We know he can score better than that, for sure.
Sure. Benjamin. So our next guy in, and the final guy of Heat 1 to come in and take his first run is the person we were talking about earlier, who was maybe looking to settle a score a little bit here, having made it through to finals and then just taken some unfortunate falls at Simple Session in winter in Estonia. It's Anthony Perrin.
Yeah, and we know what he's capable of. We know that he has all the technical aspects down pat and that he can really put down when he needs to. But, you know, a few bobbles here and there at the previous Simple Sessions. Let's see if he can put it together here today.
Yeah, toothpick hangover, then popping it over the rail as well. Just coming out here, getting it done. I mean, having watched the guys in the first heat, I think it is a good thing to come out and kind of be that guy that gets a solid run in, because as it stands, people haven't had a flawless run yet, have they, Chris? And to be that guy that comes out and is the first person to do that, you're immediately going to have the judges kind of watching you and on your side.
Oh yeah, you said it there. I mean, like we said before, they're looking for perfection. You have to be on point.
We did literally see some guys yesterday who, I mean, they'd had incredible runs, but they had just slipped the pedals or stepped off a couple of times, and as such, their scores were through the floor.
Look at Anthony showing you that toothpick to over. That is not easy. These guys make everything look so easy, showing your nose to toothpick grind, and they all just look so casual to me.
Do you think that can almost detract from a score? If someone is riding and makes it look a little bit too easy, it's incredible to watch, but the judges can just be like, oh, whatever, that was easy.
Yeah, I was always told that like you have to make your stuff look a little bit more difficult sometimes.
It's not always the worst thing in a best trick jam to bail your trick first time.
I guess not.
And then get it the second.
Showing you that 180 crooked grind. When I say crooked, that means he has one peg on one side of the bike on the rail and the other peg on the other side of the rail. Really difficult to do, and he did it backwards.
So we're checking the score, and there we go. Anthony Perrin coming in with a 56. He did just clip one of the rails and step off slightly, but that puts him up into first. He knows he can equally do better than that as well. So all the guys in run one looking to kind of make their second runs count out here, I think, Chris.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think for this first group, we're going to have to see a lot of good performances on the second runs here from guys like Max here, who's about to drop in.
Yeah, Max coming back in. And it's worth noting as well that Max's brother, Igor, so if you know the Baspali brothers, the twin brothers, both very similar stars actually. They come out of Russia, and unfortunately Igor got injured yesterday. He wrecked his knee slightly, sadly, so I believe I was told. So he ended up sat out. He was supporting his brother, but Max and Igor are both Simple Session regulars out here, right, Chris?
They are regulars, and unfortunately for Max, I don't think this run is going the way that he likes it. This is one of those scenarios where we're going to have to see him really come alive in the best trick competition.
Well, I have to say, I was watching the skateboarding earlier. In fact, I was commentating the skateboarding earlier, and we saw some of the guys that really did make the best trick section count. They hadn't had the run they'd hoped for, and they came out and they absolutely pulled it out of the bag in the best trick section, and as such, they just tore it.
Yeah.
So it does show that this format really does kind of lend itself to those guys that can pull out a hammer in that best trick section.
Yeah, but showing you the manual down the rail. That is so difficult to aim that back tire down that rail on a round rail, mind you. That is really impressive. Good showing from Max. I think he wanted a little bit more, a few step-offs here and there, but that's what it's like. Riding is so technical nowadays.
But I mean, hopefully it just gives him that kind of, okay, it wasn't the run he wanted, but it gives him that base that he can be like, right, okay, if I can pull something out in the best trick, I can maybe recover from this.
Yes, definitely.
So there we go. He has improved slightly. There's a 51.25. That puts him just in behind Anthony Perrin. So we are going to head back over to Kristaps Reimanis.
Yes.
The local guy.
Yeah, the local guy. You can hear the crowd getting behind him. Like I said, I said in run one, watch out for a lot of rail rides, and he only did one. But in qualifying, he put together a line where he was rail riding, to manual to rail riding down a separate rail, and it was really impressive. I'd like to see him maybe put that back out there, and it'd probably really do well in the judges' eyes as well.
Well, I mean, we were talking about it last night. Like, rail rides, obviously, I mean, they are as kind of terrifying and precise as they look. So it's like maybe he has come out today and gone, okay, the finals, I want to come out and do something that's a little more consistent, a little less risky to make sure I get a run down. And it looks like he's doing that in run 2. He's already doing better than in his first run.
Well, so far, so good. I mean, he's really putting it together right now, showing you that 360 to fakie coming in on the wedge. But yeah, he has a lot of elements so far. He showed you that Smith to one. Oh, there's that Smith to hardway 180 right there.
Wow.
He put that in yesterday as well. That is a very difficult trick. And when I say hardway 180, I mean he's pulling away from the ledge, whereas you see someone pull into the ledge, that's usually the easier way. And sorry, I got a little sidetracked there watching the crooked grind to 180. He's got a great run going. He hasn't touched the ground once yet. He's really killing it. He's got about 10 more seconds left. He needs to stay on his bike, and he's going to get the score that he wants.
Completely. This currently looks like a first place score right now for Heat 1.
Showing you that tail end.
And that's going to do it for him. That's going to do it for Kristaps. I think we're going to see him, just taking that one to fakie. I think we're going to see the hometown hero go into first here, Chris.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And he's still going. I mean, those last-minute tricks don't really count, but I mean, like you said, I think that's going to be a first-place score for right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, it is worth noting, like you say, there he is representing Kink BMX. He is the hometown hero here. Everyone's rooting for him, but he is making waves across the pond.
Yeah, and he was really linking things up. I mean, check this out. 360 to, that's an opposite way to 360 for him. That was a feeble to 360, my apologies. But yeah, good run from Kristaps. There it is.
As expected, he steps it up, 71.50. Look at that, it's almost double his initial score. So that is what getting a flawless run does for you, Chris.
Yeah, he stayed on his pedals the entire time, except for when he was doing the no-footed can-cans, of course. But he stomped every single trick. He showed variety, and he really covered a lot of the course, which is exactly what these judges are looking for.
And he was just getting some props from Max Schuprina there at the end as well, who is due to ride later on. So we go back over to Benjamin Krismariu, who I'm calling the dark horse out here. Oh no, that's so unfortunate. He had that yesterday. I didn't see him fall on that yesterday. He's a younger dude out here today.
Oh, that was nice. Tooth hangover to crank arm to 180. You know, he wanted to do a nose to bar spin on that, so he's a little off his mark right now.
And how many times did we see him do that yesterday, Chris?
Right, well, I mean, he's in these finals for a reason. It's because he killed it yesterday, and he's just having a little bit of trouble here today, although he's still doing some great tricks. There he is, showing you that feeble to nose to bar spin off. He turns around, and these guys all plan out their runs, and they practice their runs, so we're pretty familiar with seeing the stuff that he has.
Oh man. Wow, that one's going to rattle the bones a bit.
Oh, man. That was another one. We've seen him do that trick countless times now, but...
Well, he was doing the over to double peg and then manual into that trick. Yeah. He did that first go yesterday, and that was in his run that actually qualified him in for this, because he was looking good, and then he pulled that, and everyone lost their minds.
Yeah, I mean, and that was a big slam. There was that tooth hanger going to crank arm 180. I like this right here. Feeble, nose, bars, perfect.
It is just throwing in that extra trick that the judges are looking for as well, right? It's just going up to nose just before you bar rather than going straight to bar. It's just that those extra points that you're going to get in your run. And unfortunately, he will sit with his run 1 score. Benjamin, he's going to have to step it up in the best trick, but like we say, he does have those combos to make sure he does that.
Yes, he does. And I'm kind of glad they didn't show that slam again, because that was pretty brutal. He kind of belly flopped the concrete there.
Yeah, that's a pelvis right there. So our final rider for run 2, Anthony Perrin, came out with a flawless run. In fact, sorry, no, he didn't. He didn't come out with a flawless run. He scored in the mid-50s. I think he just got taken out by the rail. But that's how ruthless the judges are being. He, like, got caught on the rail. Oh, is his tire gone, or is he just...
Looks like he's got a flat tire there, and that's unfortunate, because he started off really good on the first obstacle that he hit, and then he went to do that bar spin the manual to 180, and it looks like he realized that his tire was going flat, so now he's going to have to fix that and come back strong in the best trick section.
Yeah, sure. And so hopefully, I mean, that 54 could hold up for him. And we are now going to move over to the standings to have a look at exactly where everyone's looking at the moment.
That's part of the game sometimes.
That's right. We've got Chris Stats, the hometown hero, as I've been saying, sat well in first there, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost, and I repeat, almost 20 points ahead of the next guy. So, I mean, he's looking pretty good. But keep in mind, we have a lot more riders to go, but we got Anthony Perrin currently in second place, Max Pasquale and your friend Benjamin.
Yeah, so I mean, it does really look like the score of 70 could hold up there for Chris Stats. I think that is the kind of score you're going to need to be looking to get into those top positions. You know, Max coming in just a second. We are moving into the best trick contest. So this is the element of the jam which sees an individual trick. There's the rail ride to 180. Was he looking for more there, maybe?
Well, yeah, you could see him shaking his head. I mean, a rail ride to 180 up is not easy, but obviously he wanted more from that.
Yeah, sure. And I think the scenario is that if you can pull out a trick that's going to score you a good score, and then you can build on it, that's the best way. We saw a couple of guys in the skate. I mean, Britain's Aaron Jago is a good friend of mine. He had, I think, actually the best run score of the day, but then didn't get a trick in the best trick and ended up down, I think, in 10th, which is a real shame. So I think it is smart to kind of get that one trick in there. So he might not be too happy with the rail ride 180, but yeah, he may have put some score on the board there just to help himself out. So Chris Stats currently in first.
Tuck no-hander to manual across the big pad. Showing, wow. Opposite feeble to downside tail whip. But you know what? He's got 2 more tries to get that. So it's not the end-all be-all. You don't just get 1 try. He has 2 more tries. These guys have to go in order. But it'd be really cool to see him get that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, this best trick, it counts for 50% of your score. So, I mean, the likes of Benjamin might be feeling a little bit demoralized. Things didn't quite go his way. We're going to see him come in now. But he can really make up for this right now.
Well, yeah, this is like his time to shine. He's got to get a best trick. He's got 3 chances to get it done. And it's going to be interesting to see what he picks, because I personally don't know a lot about Benjamin. So it's going to be really fun to see what he comes up with.
Well, I know, because I'd obviously picked him out as the dark horse, and we kind of were having a look last night, and we were like, we can't find a huge amount about him. We can find some clips online, and so I really hope that this is kind of, it's going to turn heads him being here.
Right, yeah, hopefully. I mean, he just did 2 tricks now, and unfortunately the judges are going to have to pick one of those tricks. It's not like a line that he gets to pick. If he had manualed in between those two obstacles there, that would have been 1 trick, but they have to take either the 50-50 down the rail to hardway 180.
And having seen his riding, I think that might have been what he's going for. Max Pasquale also trying to take that rail ride up to manual there as well, obviously looking at something. But we can't quite see what, because his front wheel did come down early. We were talking about this as well in the runs. I mean, the likes of Courage Adams to come later. That is his run. Like, he is coming out with those massive manual combos. And if he sets that wheel down, that's kind of the run done, you know?
Yeah.
He hasn't got the time to go back round and start that again and get his whole run in there. So it's a big risk pulling those tricks, but the judges do reward it.
Yeah. So Max Pasquale just took his 2nd best trick attempt, and it did not look like what he wanted.
No. So, I mean, it's going to be all or nothing for him on the 3rd.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the judges right here. The hardest job here today, perhaps, having to score these riders and place them 1 to 12. Anthony Perrin looks like he's still experiencing some bike malfunctions and hasn't gotten that tire fixed. But, you know, hopefully, maybe he can borrow someone's bike. Maybe he can get that fixed and get in a best trick. We'll see how it goes.
Sadly, I have just been informed that Anthony is out.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, unfortunately, we said earlier, he made it through to the finals at Simple Session in Estonia. And didn't quite get to where he wanted, and it's happened here again today. So it's tough luck for Anthony. I'm not sure that quite worked out for Max Pasquale there.
So next rider, 2nd attempt, Kristaps Raimanens. He was looking for
Just
the
trying to
combo.
work out.
Tacno
So
into
I'm assuming that was his third
second
attempt.
over
I'm
the
thinking
course.
probably didn't go the way he wanted there. He's getting some props from Max Schuprino, I believe.
Yeah, he did not look too happy with that one.
If you get loud,
So sadly, I
you
think
guys
Max
will pull the
Pasquale
tricks.
not
All they
quite
need is
working
your
out for him
energy.
today, but someone it is
And
working
there
out
he
for
is.
is Kristaps.
He's dropping in.
Let's see what he's got on his third attempt.
Kristaps, there's that tuck no-hander to manual. Here's that feeble. Showing you the tail whip. Oh, he bounces a little bit, but he gets it, and he is psyched, as is the hometown crowd.
Wow, yeah, the crowd going absolutely wild for that, and I think that's going to give him a really good overall score, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Tuck no-hander, manual, keeping that front wheel up. That's an opposite feeble. Downside tail whip, and he bobbles a little bit, but he doesn't hit the ground. So good to see him get that one.
Yeah, there we go. He's getting some props there. Yeah, the public. This is the best thing about Simple Session as well. The riders really are just in amongst the public. Look at that, just like the kids at the side. I mean, the local kids here may actually know Kristaps, because I'm guessing he rides here quite a lot. And he's there just going around high-fiving the kids. There aren't many contests where you get to do that, Chris.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's great for the crowd to be a part of it.
So he had a few
Benjamin
mistakes in his 2 runs.
coming in for his third attempt.
And one big combo.
Like I said before, we don't know a whole lot about Benjamin, so it's going to be cool to see what he comes up with and see what he's got here.
Apologies, second attempt. I think we got a bit confused there with Anthony having pulled out.
Oh, man, there's that double peg going nose to bars off.
And that is exactly what he's needing to do. He's going to get that score on the board. I think it's going to be hard for Benjamin to get right up the rankings today, but that's probably going to recover things for him a
Bar
little.
spin to manual. Keeps the manual over that little A-frame wedge. Double peg. And he just goes straight to toothpick a little bit to bar off. That was really cool. He needed that trick right there.
Yeah, there we go. Giving the thumbs up to his friends in the crowd. Yeah, he's going to be happy with that one. I think for him, like, the pressure just isn't on. It's a shame the 2 runs didn't kind of work out for him. But, you know, he has come out and more than proven himself here.
But yeah, and he's a young guy. We're going to see him again at other Simple Sessions. So awesome to have him out here. Max Pasquale about to come in.
This one's going to be his third attempt. He needs to link this one up.
Showing you that feeble tooth manual.
Unfortunately, it just hasn't quite worked out for Max. He did really well riding in yesterday, making it through to finals. Like I say, Igor, his brother, he got injured. But Max is out here having a good time. The crowd love Max Pasquale. The Pasquale twins they are Simple Session regulars. They are always here. So it's great to see him back out and just having a great time and catching up with Max there as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think these guys ride together, they're both Russians, and looks like for the best trick, he's going to get a 40.75, a total of 92. So you see that his best run was run 2, and then the best trick score, they add them together, and that's your score.
So let's see.
Yes, I'm really intrigued to see where Kristaps goes from here.
Well, I mean, he's got to be feeling pretty good. He's got the one consistent run where he's topping the leaderboard right now. Now he's got the hard trick already, so he's kind of sitting pretty. He can maybe have some fun here, try something a little bit more difficult. Now this is just a bonus for him. If he gets a higher score, it's gonna put him up even higher. So good for him right now. This is I don't want to call it a glory run, but I mean, he's definitely feeling a little bit more relaxed. Double tire. Oh.
It's that though. It's if you can get within your first 2 attempts that trick that you're like, okay, I have a good score on the board. You're like, okay, I'm now just going to go for broke. Where if you leave things, if you don't get that maybe slightly more consistent trick in earlier, and you get to your 3rd attempt, your hands are shaking, your palms are sweaty. There's a lot more pressure on there. Bit of an Eminem line there, yeah, sure, almost.
Yeah, it looked like he was going for a double tire ride up the rail to 180 crooked grind, but I mean, look at his total right now, 148.75.
There we go. I mean, I think that score is going to hold up. I mean, do we think that that's going to make the podium? I mean, time will tell, but I think he's put himself in good contention.
Yeah, it's too early to tell, but he's definitely he's the guy that everyone has their eye on right now, though.
Absolutely. And due to obviously Anthony Perrin having those mechanical issues with his bike, Benjamin Krasmaru is going to be rounding this out. the young Italian out here for his first ever Simple Session experience. And I really hope we see him in winter as well.
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, and you notice Benjamin is one of the only guys wearing a helmet today, and it's all about personal preference. A lot of these guys feel that like how you look is how you feel is how you ride. So a lot of these guys aren't wearing helmets, but Benjamin is here. He's rocking his helmet, and it's good to see that.
Well, I can kind of see why as well. He's one of the guys that's throwing 540s. He's linking these lines together, heading down those handrails, and it is a risk, you know?
Over double peg to manual to double peg down to hard way 180 out. Benjamin gets his hard trick. Great to see him get that. Pull it together. All right. He went over double peg on that first hit, and he kept the manual up. If that manual goes down, it's pretty much like trick over.
It almost counts as a bail.
Right. Double peg down, hard way 180 out. Remember, hard way, he's pulling away from that rail. Very, very difficult.
So as we are waiting on the scores right now, we will soon have a round recap to look over. But yeah, Kristaps Reimanis, obviously the local guy coming out there, really kind of putting himself head and shoulders above the guys in Heat 1 that had potential to do a lot. And unfortunately, just a few of them coming unstuck there. And like Anthony Perrin, just it's hard because ultimately it wasn't his fault. He had that mechanical failure, and in these contests, when that happens, you're just kind of wiped out, especially when it's so back-to-back like this here today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're going to keep pounding it into everyone's head, but you have to be consistent. You have to stomp your pedals. You have to be precise.
And Benjamin getting a 68.75 to take him up into second place there. I think Benjamin will be pleased with his first outing here at Simple Session. He's made the finals. He's not finishing 12th today, but yeah, he knows obviously he could have put down a few more things in his run, but I think he's definitely going to have turned heads as a newcomer.
Oh yeah. It'll be fun to watch him and see if he goes to some of the other Simple Sessions and is a part of things, but we're definitely going to be hearing about that young man for a time to come.
Well, this is it. I mean, next Simple Session, February 2nd to 3rd in 2019, so it will look slightly different to how this looks right now, Chris.
Yes,
where the sun is shining, the people are sat outside in the bleachers. I wouldn't be fancying sitting outside in the bleachers at the winter session.
No, absolutely.
from Latvia.
So I believe the third member of our team, the Estonian Tuli, is down on the course with a certain rider who's done particularly well in Heat 1.
So you have 1 minute of warm-up.
Kristaps, amazing. You're in front of your home crowd in Latvia. Is it more nerve-wracking or more encouraging to compete in front of them?
Oh, of course. I'm so happy to be out here, like in front of all my friends and family, and yeah.
You absolutely nailed your best trick. Can you walk us through your trick? Like, what did you do and why did you choose that?
Oh, I figured out one line I should do. Like, I totally didn't know if it will work out because I didn't feel that well today. Like, I've been riding all week long, so I'm pretty tired, but it worked out second try, so I'm pretty happy, of course, yeah.
So, is there anything like you want to say about the course? Like anything super exciting? Like, what is the most exciting thing about this whole tour?
Oh, I wish there would be more plazas like this all around the world. So, yeah, every people come here, enjoy the plaza. It's perfect.
Well, thanks a lot. And yeah, congratulations once again. Well done. Such a good job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tuli. So I've heard actually now that Anthony Perrin fortunately has managed to get his bike working, so kindly the organizers are going to let him take his best trick.
Well, how about that? That's pretty nice of them. I mean, you don't see that a lot, so it's good. I mean, this is really the riders contest. I mean, so they understand that he wants to get that last trick, so they're going to give it to him, and it's going to be really fun to watch because we like watching Anthony ride.
Well, this is the thing we haven't mentioned, you know. Simple Session really was set up as a contest at a local skate park by some BMXers. When you really break it down, and now it's built to be what it is today.
Yeah, and I'm glad that Anthony has his bike fixed. I'm happy that he's going to get his best trick because who knows what he has. He's such a technical rider that, I mean, he could really blow our minds right here.
Absolutely. So looking forward to getting Anthony back in, a Red Bull rider who gained 8th in Estonia this year.
All the riders from the other heat, the jury.
Cruising back up to the top of the course. Oh.
Take a little break.
It looks like he obviously wants more. He's a double tire ride. I think he's just...
Is he just getting warmed up right now, maybe?
Maybe he's just warming up, making sure that he has the right tire pressure again. I mean, street riders run such low tire pressure now to really take some of the shock of landing flat off their wrists and their ankles. So he's probably just making sure he has the right tire pressure for the right trick here.
This is a point as well. I mean, we essentially, when you're jumping down these stairs, you take huge amounts of impact. I'm told that this is a second attempt. Unfortunately, Anthony just coming off there. So I think he is going to get one attempt. At least he's smiling. I think he knows, obviously, the luck's just been slightly against him today. But if he can put something down, his third attempt, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, he was going for that double tire ride up the rail, across the flat to manual, and then ice pick trick down the rail on the other side of that manual pad. I'd like to see where he's going to go with this. I mean, he could, in that ice pick, once he hits that ice pick grind, he could come out of it 180, either hard way or the easier way. But let's see what he's got here. He's going for that double tire ride, and it just slipped to feeble real quick.
Okay, well, I'm told actually that one just before, where we thought that may have been his second, they had just started his best trick from the start, so that was his first attempt. This one that we just saw was his second, and now he's coming in for his third, so we really hope he can pull this one together. It's just not quite Anthony's day today.
No, so you know, he was going for that double tire ride up and just, you know, having a few mistakes here and there. He showed you that 180 bar spin down the stairs. Still super impressive, but just not Anthony's day today.
I mean, he's smiling, he's laughing. I think he knows that, you know, just luck kind of wasn't quite on his side today, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And he had that bike malfunction, so that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, that's it. Kind of just brush this one to one side, and yeah, we'll be seeing him at more contests throughout this summer for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and he gets around quite a bit. He travels a lot. He's always traveling a lot to film for different videos, and that's so much of what these street riders do. So many guys are out on the road all summer long, filming, shooting photos, and really pushing themselves hard for different videos and just different publications and things like that.
Yeah, and Anthony putting himself into third there right now with a 43 on his best trick. So let's cut into a run recap. Let's go back over what we've seen here, Chris.
Check out Benjamin with the bar spin to manual. It keeps that manual going, showing the double peg, toothpick to bar spin out. Good linkage right there. But speaking of links right here, I like this one. Kristaps with the tuck no-hander to manual, opposite feeble, downside tail whip, catches the pedals, doesn't hit the ground, but that's why he's our leader right now. Max Paspali was, you know, going for that double tire ride up, going to manual, had more in mind, just had to shake it off.
So we've seen the recap there. Let's take a look at the standings. Of course, as we knew, Kristaps Reimanis taking that first place spot. Like I say, Chris, I think that is going to stack up. Benjamin, my pick, going in with 109.50 for that one. Unfortunately, Anthony Perrin getting a bit unstuck, and Max Paspali just not quite having the ride that he was hoping for today. We will see. Only time will tell whether Kristaps holds up with that score until later on in the jam, later on in the finals, sorry. But we will head into a second jam soon. We are likely to give these guys a few minutes just to get warm. But Chris, what did you kind of think of that jam?
Well, I thought it was good. I thought it was a good way to start off the contest, to really get things going. Unfortunately, more guys didn't pull their runs than did, but you know, it's a good way to get the crowd into it so the crowd knows what they're watching and get them familiar with the format. So I think that was a good way to set off this competition.
And speaking of the crowd, some great crowd shots right now. The bleachers packed out today for Simple Summer Session 2018. So,
well, James, guess what I have right here? I have a little bit of a selfie interview that a few of the riders did where they're talking a little bit about bike setups. Let's check this out right now.
Oh, we're back. We're back. We got the Safari man himself at Summer Session 18. How's it going, baby?
Chilling, man.
Congrats, you made finals. He's about to crush it, but we're gonna check up on his bike real quick. He's got this BSD setup with a bunch of Safari print. I don't know, tell us about it a little bit.
I don't know, all BSD, everything. Safari frame, Safari bars.
What's that crazy bag you got there?
That's like my unreleased smuggler bag.
Yeah.
It's from Safari shit. It's like a little brand. Keep things got some raw superfoods.
Absolutely.
Sweets Kendamas.
Can't go wrong with the Kendama and the superfoods. Pretty much everything you need.
All the essentials. crucial.
For a traveling man, you got to keep all your stuff on you. Got to keep it close. Got to keep it tight. Hell yeah. Well, what's up with that B colorway? You still rocking with that thing after BSD after all these years?
Yeah, dude, it's like what? It's been like, come on.
So long, dude.
Maybe like a month.
Has it? No way, dude. It's been way longer than that. All right, well, good luck out there today, man. I'll be watching you kill it from the sidelines. Hell yeah.
Thanks, Jason.
So there you go, Reed Stark with Mark Burnett, a super unique guy, Reed Stark, that we are going to see as our third place qualifier. But before we go forward, we are going to go into Heat 2 after a commercial break.
We have a commercial break, so you can use the park for a walk.
A ton of action out there, Chris. We have 2 more heats of 4 riders left to go. There was action all over the place, but right now we have Marek Kuchalskis to come in, Yuri Blabel, Max Schuprina, and Gaspar Gwendolen. It's starting to heat up right now, isn't it, Chris?
Well, yeah, the jams are only going to get better because these are the guys that qualified the highest. But out of this heat, man, I don't even know. Like, I like this kid because he's a local kid. He's really, the crowd really loves him, and he rides at this park probably more than just about anybody. So to have him here, to have him in the finals is really special for the people here in Latvia.
And I think he is actually the youngest guy in this contest as well out here today. And another guy that is rocking the helmet as well, you know, so that's great to see too.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I mean, there's no shame in that game because he's just watching out for himself. I'm sure his parents wanted to wear that helmet as well. But you know what? To me, I think he looks pretty good.
Yeah, he is a guy that, obviously being one of the hometown guys, that he had the crowd behind him yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
But really the riders are behind him as well when he throws out things like that, Chris.
Man, he's on fire right now. Look at the speed that he's going with. He's going really fast. He's got a lot of control. He's done a lot of really good tricks. Oh, look at that. Double peg. Took tires to 180 off. I mean, he's showing you that 540. There's that truck driver.
It's worth noting as well, that 540 was a complete transition trick. What would the judges think of that?
Well, I don't think I mean, the fact that he did it it's really good because it completes his run, but I mean, it's not going to make or break his score.
It may just give him those few extra points, a little bit of edge.
He is really killing it right now. This is really, I'm going to really enjoy watching some of the highlights because he's getting me a little bit tongue-tied and twisted right now.
Yeah, he is incredibly consistent. Unfortunately, just stepping off there. And it's worth noting as well, he knows the park like the back of his hand.
Yeah, and I got to say again, that was all opposite what he did right there. That was a opposite feeble to opposite 180 out. And
as you were talking about earlier, you know, it is that kind of like switching up the stance and switching up the way that you are turning the bike. So Marek waiting for his score to come in.
He came out with the fire too. He was going really fast in the beginning, and he was hitting a lot of his tricks. He's showing you that bar spin to manual. Had to let it down there. There's that ice pick grind down the A-frame. He's keeping this manual up, showing you that manual up on the little pad right there. Pegs on, 180 out. That was looking pretty good.
Smoothie with a 67. He's happy with that. He knows he stepped off at one point. So, you know, it is those flawless runs that are going to get those top scores. But you know, he's got a really good base to work from now, Chris.
Oh yeah. That was really fun to watch, and it's cool to see a local kid come out here and really do his thing.
Yeah. Well, making his way to the middle of the course is Yuri Blabel with the legendary gold chain.
This guy is all power, all strength. He's got a lot of pop. He doesn't mess up a lot. I don't want to jinx him by saying that, but I watched him in practice, I watched him in qualifying, and he just looks like he makes everything look really easy. He does a lot. Watch the handlebars. He spins those bars a lot. He does a lot of double bar spins, but you can tell that his favorite trick is a bar spin. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I love the way he starts his run right here. He goes up double peg to opposite tail whip off. There it is.
Ah, well called, Chris. You could be a commentator.
So keep an eye on those bars and keep an eye on the way he's doing things. Like he's kicking tail ups in both directions.
Oh, just throwing those bars.
Throwing that double bar spin. That's a trick that we saw him get yesterday in qualifying. There's that opposite bar right there. Just cruising around looking for his line. There's that 180 double bar spin. Gold chain around his neck and just killing it on the course right now. There we go. Over double peg, trying to 180 out, has to step out of it. A little bit uncharacteristic of his riding because based on what little I saw just between the last few days of watching him ride, he typically doesn't mess up this much. It might just be a little bit of nerves getting to him. He's showing you that opposite tail up yet again.
We were saying in qualifiers yesterday, he's one of those guys that rides with tons of conviction to the point that you almost see him pop for the trick and you're like, he's landed it already.
Right.
You know that whatever it is, he has that conviction like that.
Right, I love that. He just stomps that double peg to opposite tail up every time.
And catching the pedals with so much precision off that opposite tail whip.
Keeping his hands on the bars and just spinning them around like that.
So unfortunately, it's probably not going to be the score he was hoping for, having taken a few spills, but that is always run 2.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of power and pop and control. Like, he makes everything look really clean and really precise and really easy. I really enjoyed Judy.
Yeah, and it seems the judges having a bit of a discussion over this one as well. I mean, this is it. It's a subjective sport, you know.
Yeah, and you and I watched them yesterday. This is not an easy task that these guys have. It's not just jotting down a few numbers here and there. I mean, they're trying to be as precise with their scores as the riders are with their riding. But I mean, look at that. He gets a 61, good enough for 6th place right now. I think if he can put that run together and run number 2, he's going to come back with a big score.
Yeah, I think that's probably what he was expecting with a couple of falls. But like you say, if he can have that conviction and that consistency that we saw in the qualifiers, he can come out and do something really big here today, I think. So the next guy to come in, we've talked about him a bunch already, out of Russia is Max Shuprina. He is always a simple session, right?
He is a simple session regular, and keep an eye on everything that this guy does. He's got a lot of sneaky little moves that he throws in here and there, but he's very calculated. He's very precise, and he's another guy that, like, I watched him in practice and I watched him in qualifying, and it was like almost like it was hard for him to mess up sometimes. He's that good.
Well, he did get a 9th place finish in Estonia this year. This park is, I'd say, quite a lot more compact than the Estonian courses that we get, purely because having to cater for the big jump boxes and such. So it's interesting to see how he's going to do out here today.
Yeah, wow, and he's showing you so much pop and power and control. Like, he just went up to hard way, 180. 180 bar spins, and then half cabbed into that wedge down there. Oh, opposite feeble, the 360 out of that manual. He's got a great run going right now. There's that feeble into the wedge.
Hitting the side of the ledge there that we haven't seen anyone hit. I don't think even yesterday.
Opposite tail up over the volcano gap. And this is where the riders start to get a little bit tired, so he's a little bit winded. But how could you even tell? I mean, he's killing it right now. He just did a tail up to flat, showing you the opposite feeble to 180 out.
He is one of those guys as well that really does just make this whole game look easy.
Yeah, and he's virtually flawless right now. 180 tail up at the end of his run, and he pulls it super clean. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I think that might be our highest scored run so far, because he did so much. He fit so much into that run, and he didn't mess up, not once. Didn't put a single foot down at all.
And we do know how much higher those flawless runs are being scored. The judges really wanting to see that consistency.
Yeah.
So here's some replays.
Yeah, there's that up double peg, hard way, 180 bar spin out. And it looks like he wanted more out of that little half cab there, but it's still a clean run. There's that feeble to 360 out of that manual. And you could see he wanted to do more in each of these tricks, but well, it turns out I was wrong, ladies and gentlemen. It's 68.25, but still a very impressive first run from Max Jabrina.
Yeah, and it is worth noting as well where Max comes into 5th there. Obviously, the guys in the rounds before have a higher score because they have already had their best trick score accounted for. So where these guys are showing, they might have had the best run of the day and it will show 4th or 5th or whatever. That is because they haven't had their best trick score added to it yet. So our final rider of Heat 2 coming in for his first run. You were a big fan of this guy yesterday, Chris. It's Gaspar Gwendolaine.
I'm a fan of any man that comes out wearing a collared shirt. He looks good, he rides good. I mean, he was so fun to watch yesterday. Virtually came out of nowhere to really upset the finals. I mean, he was sitting in first place for a long time in the qualification round.
Well, I mean, yeah, we've both been competing in our time, and it is so hard to do that. It's so hard to come out one of the first jumps. You see yourself drawn there and you go, oh, you know?
Right. Keep an eye on this guy. He's super, super technical. 180 on. Oh, going for that nose press to 180 out. We saw him do that every time yesterday in qualifying. There's that crank arm grind. Oh, 180, 2 tires, backwards down the ledge. He's got a really good run going. I know he messed up once, but still, it's been a pretty good run so far. Let's see if he can get this trick here. Oh, and there's that 540.
He was doing that every time yesterday, and the crowd are loving it just as much now.
Oh, trying to pull hard way, 180, trying to go down double peg. And obviously we see him come off the back there, but he's going to be back for run number 2. And it's kind of weird seeing him mess up like that because yesterday he was just so precise and so flawless that it's weird to see him mess up a little bit. So hopefully run number 2 goes a little bit better for him. You can see him shaking his head right there. He's not satisfied with it. But you know what? He still looks good in that collared shirt.
Absolutely. Coming out of Argentina, really putting it down here at Simple Session. I really hope that he can get it together in the second run, not have so many falls, and come out with that flawless run that we saw him get yesterday. So there we go. Another look at the crowd. Must be nice out there, huh? In the sun, in the bleachers.
Yeah, it is hot out there. I mean, these fans are dedicated. They're sitting out there in the heat, and they've been with us all weekend. So it's great to have them here.
Absolutely. We're just taking another look at Marek up there. Gaspar getting a 64.75 with a couple of 4s in there. That's not such a bad score, but it does show where he could go from there if he cleans that up.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty generous score for the amount of times that he messed up. So, you know, if he cleans that up, we could see a new guy in that first place position.
So we're throwing back over. I believe that Marek may be the youngest guy in this contest. And he came in with a 67 to kick things off. He's a local guy.
He's a local kid. He rides this park a lot, so he knows every nook and cranny. Showing you that crooked grind right there. Bar spin onto the wedge.
And it's worth noting as well, he qualified for Simple Summer Session 2018 as the best Latvian rider back at the last winter session in Estonia in 2018 in February.
Oh, all right.
So he is showing a ton of potential.
So showing you that toothpick grind, eyes on this ledge. Oh, feeble to hard way 360 down the ledge. That is super, super difficult. Early in the run, we saw him go up the rail, double peg to hard way 360 as well. Go for that manual, to crooked, pulling it back over, double.
Probably got time for one more here. Just taking that manual through.
And keep in mind, and showing the crowd the flair. I don't know how much that transition is really going to help him or hurt him, but that's up for the judges to decide. I think it's cool he did that for the crowd. And, you know, he had a few mess-ups, but, I mean, how great must it be to be at your hometown park in front of your hometown crowd and just really putting on a good show for them?
Absolutely, and to show that versatility at the end as well. I think just to show that you have that variety and almost just like yeah, I can do this. Yeah. Like, I can ride whatever I like. Judges are going to love that. And whether it scores as much as it might in a park contest is another matter. But.
Right. Showing you that feeble to hardway 360 down. There's the flare on the quarter pipe that we saw.
Oh, taking a 56.75, so he's going to sit with that 67, which gives him a good solid base to run with for the best trick session.
And you know, he's still pretty small. He's only 16 years old. He's riding against some full-grown men out there. So as he gets older, he's going to get stronger, and he's only going to get better. So this is certainly not going to be the last time we ever hear of him.
So we're going to bring Yuri Blabel back in. Super promising rider coming out in qualifiers yesterday, making it in 7th place.
That's when we just saw him do the up rail to opposite tail whip. Turning that tire ride. There's that double bar spin that he messed up on in that first run. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Bar spinning in and out of that rail. I don't know how he's able to squeeze in so many bar spins like that. There's that opposite 360. You know, he dropped a foot, but, you know, he's still looking pretty good.
It's kind of hoping he can make up for it in these final 20 seconds. Yeah, just throwing those bars, no wrapping there.
Looks like he wanted a little bit more out of that. It was going for that ice pick grind to bar spin out, which he did yesterday in qualifying. Had to settle for the double peg grind. A little bit uncharacteristic for Jiri right now.
Yeah, we're going to see how his score goes. He's definitely a guy that in the best trick jam can throw down. He's recently been out in the States as well with the likes of Mark Burnett.
Yeah, he's been traveling around quite a bit. He said he went to New York City and he was riding street out there. He said he had an absolute blast when he was out there.
I bet. So yeah, a little shake of the head. Yuri maybe not quite getting what he was hoping there. But I still think that's going to be a solid score. Do you think that's going to be an improve on his first, Chris?
I think it is. I mean, he pulled a few things that he messed up on in run number 1. But he still had his fair share of troubles, and I say troubles for him, but for anyone else, I mean, it'd probably be great riding. But yeah, I mean, I think he's going to improve on his score, but you could see by his body language that he wasn't happy with that. He was shaking his head a lot.
Yeah, the judge is just deliberating his score. Waiting to see what comes in for him. Okay, so he does improve, as you predicted, Chris. It's a 65.75. Kind of looks okay. Yeah, it's a thumbs up. I think it's, like we say, you know, for any average rider, that would be an incredible run. For him, he knows he can land those tricks that he was falling on.
Yeah, he knows he can do better. And he did do better yesterday in qualifying. So maybe it's a little bit of nerves out here in the finals in front of the big crowd, but it's going to be interesting to see what he has for best trick, because just having watched him ride, you know he has some things up his sleeve that could really blow some minds.
Yeah. And yesterday there wasn't the best trick element, so it was all down to the run. Max Shuprina of Russia coming back in. Wow.
Double peg up to big 180 out. Looked like he wanted the bar spin but didn't get it. But then he reverts that 540 right there. That was really, really cool. There's that manual to opposite feeble, 360 out. Telling the cameraman to get out of his way so he can continue on his run. Just drop it in, coming in with some heat, coming in with some speed. There's that feeble up, gapping into the wedge. He's loving that opposite tail. We see that from him just about every time. Never misses the pedals.
Max Shuprina is looking great today.
Showing that tail up to flat. Opposite feeble to 180 bar spin out. That was a good link. I like the way he linked that up together. Doing the tail up straight to flat and then jumping on that opposite feeble and then 180 bar spin out. Oh, that's the first time we've seen him miss that 180 tail up on that.
Wow. So our final rider of the runs after this will be Gaspar, but let's take a look at some slow-mo replays of Max Shuprina.
Just spinning it around. Opposite feeble, 360 out. I like this line right here. Up the ledge to feeble, gapping into that wedge, keeping the speed going, keeping the line going.
Yeah, upping his score there, a 70.75. That stands him well. That actually puts him first out of this heat. So he's sat in 5th at the moment. The guys in the heat before have a higher score because of that best trick score being added to it. So he's sat in a very good position right now if he can hold things down in the best trick jam. But first, we have got Gaspar Gwendolan coming out of Argentina, first time here in Riga, Latvia.
Just did that 180 on to revert tail whip over the volcano. There's that nose wheelie to 180. He's looking pretty strong right now. 180 onto this wedge. I love this. A little bit of a G-turn there.
Had a couple of uncharacteristic falls in his first run.
Yeah, but
he looks good right now.
He's on point so far. 180 tires, pulls it back around. He's looking really comfortable, if I can say that. I mean, he just looks. Oh, and there he misses the hand on the handlebar, so I jinxed him on that one.
Curse.
I know. Hey, but he still nails that 540, coming out of the bank, landing flat, and this is what he's had his eyes on. Pulling hard way.
Just throwing away the end of the run, but yeah. Waving to the crowd. He's having fun out here. Like I say, it's his first time in Riga. He's over from Argentina.
Yeah.
See how he does.
And a minute is a long time for a run. A lot of these guys hold their breaths for almost the entire time, so it starts to get you really winded, and you have to remember to breathe. There's that 180 on, down the ledge, pulls it out, 180 again. I really like that. That's really cool because he's riding backwards down the ledge like that.
So there we go. Oh, he does up his score. He does up his score. It's a 66.25. Judge is liking that more than his first run. So next up, we are going to head into the best trick jam. And as mentioned, the guys yesterday did not have this to add to their score.
Right. I mean, yesterday they just had to settle for their highest complete run, and now we have the best trick. So this is where things can really get shaken up. This is going to be really fun to watch because I think we have some heavy hitters on our hands here.
So we're going to take a quick another look at the comp format here. We discussed it at the start. We have 12 riders, 3 heats of 4 guys. We've seen so far 2 heats take their 2 1-minute runs. Best run counts. And then after that, as I say, we go into that new best trick section where they get 3 attempts to post the best score of 1 individual trick. These 2 scores are then combined. They are worth 50%. So where we have seen some of the guys being a bit despondent about their opening run, if they've got a good enough score, they can make up for it with that best trick.
Yeah, definitely. And especially a guy like Marek here, I'm really interested to see what he comes up with because this is a kid that rides at this park all the time. So, like I said before, he knows every nook and cranny of this park. It's going to be interesting to see what he picks. Oh, he's
whoa, okay.
Oh, and he picks the quarter pipe, showing you the 720. Pulled a little bit crazy on that one, but he still pulled it off. He landed it. Check him out here.
Does the fact he pulled slightly to flat make that more street?
Yeah, he landed very straight. He landed very flat. I don't know if I want to give him the complete 720, but you know what? He didn't put a foot down, so he pulled it, and maybe he can clean that up a little bit because he has 2 more hits for best trick.
I'm really intrigued to see what the judges score that with. The slight issue is that we won't see what that scored until the end of the 3. So, and we won't know if it's that one that scored the high score for him. So we're going to see him boast some more street scores, hopefully.
And I hope it will be something.
But it would be cool to see that 720 to flat.
Yeah.
really make a mark here.
Jure Blabel just letting the cameraman know what he's going to do his hard trick on. This is going to be really cool. I have a good feeling about Jure's hard trick here.
So what is he doing?
Oh, going for that bar spin to ice pick grind, it looked like.
Not that easy. So
to catch those bars and have the precision to land back peg only in an ice pick. That's got to be pretty terrifying if you miss those bars, Chris.
Oh yeah, if he misses the bars, it could go horribly wrong. And he's also grinding a large percentage of that rail too.
Max Schuprina coming in for his first best trick attempt, and he's in a great position right now. He has one of the highest scores of the day in his run.
There's that 180 tail whip, reverting it around with a bar spin. Look how casual he is. Like he does. I mean, he just did a really hard trick. That's a 180 tail whip over that volcano right there, and he keeps the rollback going, and then he reverts it around with a bar spin. I mean, that's tough, and he made it look so easy. Even his body language just made everything look super easy on that one.
He does really just look like he's chilling today.
Yeah.
He really does.
Here's that 180 tail. We just saw him mess that up a little bit in his second run. And here's this revert, bar spin, too easy.
It does look like it could be Max Szuprina's day right now. He's having a brilliant time out there. We've only seen him fall once. Gaspar having had a couple of falls as well in his runs. But coming in with a 66.25, still a really respectable score out here that he can build on.
Gaspar looks like he has his eyes on this down ledge, something that's kind of haunted him all weekend. We saw him kind of mess this up in qualifying. We saw him mess it up in his 2 runs, so hopefully he can get it here for best trick. You see him just tagging that wheel on the way up. And that's what makes it so difficult. He's pulling away from the ledge, but still trying to land on the ledge. It's really difficult to get the bike in the right position to grind or whatever he's trying when you're pulling away from the ledge like that.
Yeah, and catching your tire on the way up, like you say, when you're turning away from the ledge, is not the time that you want to be bailing out.
Right, right.
So we head back to Marek Kowalski's coming in for his second best trick attempt. Oh, linking the 2 ledges together. Not quite as he'd hoped there, Chris.
No, I mean, you saw him kind of let that manual down a little bit. And that's where the trick ends. I mean, if he had kept that manual going, he could have kept the link going, and it would have accounted for his overall best trick. But unfortunate for him, he let that manual go down. Now he's still riding. This doesn't count. But I mean, who wouldn't want to ride in front of this many of your hometown crowd?
Yeah, he's got to have some friends and family out there right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The problem is we can't tell which ones because all of the crowd are going crazy for him. Bringing Yuri Blabel back in.
Oh, that was impressive.
That's a video part move.
That is a video part move. You called it right there. I mean, bar spin to ice pick grind to hardway 180 out, and he did it so good. Look at this. Oh, perfect pop. Oh, man, and he knows it. Fist in the air. Oh, that was a thing of beauty by Jerry.
Yeah, there we go. He's happy with that. We won't know what the score is until the end of the jam, but I predict a big one for him there. And he's already sat on a 70 in the run too, so.
And he still has one more hit for best trick, so he could really even improve on that if he can.
Bar 180 out?
We shall see.
Max Szuprina getting ready to come back in. What more does Max want to do out here today? He really does just look like he's chilling.
Yeah, Mr. Consistency. I love, he's got the 180 tail up on lock. Showing you this manual. There's that opposite feeble 360. That's not what he wanted. You see him shaking his head. If you're watching at home, watch their body language when they're doing their tricks. I mean, sometimes it looks really impressive, but they always want a little bit more. So he just gets that manual over that opposite feeble, and he just does the 360 out. Now, that's a hard trick, but you know Max wanted a little bit more out of that.
What do you think the judges will score as well? Will they score the trick at face value, or will they score it knowing that it wasn't the trick he was trying?
Oh, man, we see Gaspar going for that nose wheelie to 180 down the ledge. But to answer your question, I think they'll judge it fairly. They'll judge it as the trick is, and I don't think it really matters if they know whether or not that's what they wanted to do, but I think the judges know what they're doing, and they're going to judge that fairly. But unfortunately for Gaspar, we just saw him go down on that trick.
Yeah, unfortunately so, but he still has one attempt left. We come back in with the third attempt. Getting back in with Marek.
Oh, showing you the 540 off the ledge. Looks like he wanted to link that up with a little bit more, but you saw the manual go down yet again.
So the question is the 720 going to be his highest scoring trick?
It might have to be at this point.
And what score does that get in a street contest? I'm intrigued to find out.
Me and you both. You could see he wanted that manual, and then the front wheel goes down, and I think he just did the 540 on an impulse.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy to think that you can just do something like that without even really thinking about it.
Just waiting for his score to come in. Okay, cool. So he gets a 67.25, pretty similar to his run score. He's okay with that. That's 134.25 overall. Yeah, he's happy. It's a home crowd. And he has many years ahead of him to be absolutely killing it, doesn't he, Chris?
Oh, yeah, yeah. To be in your first pro final at 16, I mean, that's really impressive, and it's really cool, again, to see him do that in front of his hometown crowd.
So, Yuri Blabel coming in, waving.
Yeah, and he really put it down on his second hit. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he comes up with for his third hit here.
This is it. He's bought himself the opportunity to really put it all on the line on his third and final attempt.
Yeah, looking forward to this for sure.
Switching up the obstacle.
Here we go, down the A-frame. Showing you that bar to ice down the A-frame. Now I'm really
interested. Like he wanted to go to manual there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where he was going to go with that because we saw him do the bar spin to ice pick grind to hardway 180 out on the bigger rail. So it would have been cool to see what he had planned on the A-frame rail as well.
Yeah, he is going to take that score, isn't he? I think we could see Yuri come out with a really good score here.
Yeah, we could see a bit of a shake-up there because that trick that he did down that big rail was super hard. He did it really, really good. So he could really shake up that leaderboard right now.
Judges currently deliberating his score. Yeah, there you go. That trick comes in with an 81.25, which adds to his run 2 score to give him 147 overall. He's pleased with that. He is climbing up the boards there.
He is pleased, but you know that he wishes he had done a better run in one of those two, for sure.
This is it, but a guy that did have a good run that's coming in right now is Max Shuprina. Max is in a really good position right now. He's had a great run. He's also put down a brilliant best trick. He's just looking to step it up here now, right?
Yeah, he's kind of got a freebie here. He can really go for it. There's that bar spin to manual, opposite feeble. Oh, going for the 540 out of the feeble.
Just slightly under-rotating the 540, taking it 450.
That would have been a very high-scored best trick right there, but unfortunately he couldn't get the 540 around, had to step off. Unfortunate for Max, but like I said, that was like a freebie for him.
Precisely, as I was saying, he's bought himself that opportunity.
Yeah.
He's put in the work early and managed to get what he needs down. And as such, he can play around and try some new things. So there we go, Max Shuprina pushing himself up to third, 142.5 with a best trick score of 71.75. He's pleased with that.
Let's see if Gaspar can get what he wants down these down ledges here. Oh.
Wow.
Wow. 180 on to the down ledge to 360 off, keeping it fakey. That was really cool. I didn't know where he was going to go with this one. You see him pulling it over 360. Oh, man, so cool. He's very creative with those down ledges in particular. Saw him try the nose to 180, didn't pull it. Saw him try to pull hard way to a grind down the ledge, didn't pull it, and to come back on your third hit to get that 180 on, down the ledge to 360 off. It's good. It's awesome to see him pull that together.
Absolutely. I think we are just waiting on Gaspar's score. Waiting to see if this one comes up. Although he did celebrate towards the screen, which makes me think that maybe the score came up there.
Well, I don't know. And I'm going to say this a lot, I would not want to be a judge in these type of situations.
Oh, the best trick score, 79.75.
But there we go, 79.75 gives him a total of 146, so he's currently in third place. Not a bad place to be this early on in the competition.
Yeah, and now we can see how the best trick can change everything up, right?
Yeah, we can see some of the guys in the final heat getting warmed up in the background. Courage Adams cruising through there, of course, with a nose manual.
That man spends more time on one wheel than most people do on two.
And once again, bringing in the third member of our team, we have Thule down on the course. Thule, what's going on?
Jiri, I mean, your best trick, you are absolutely killing it. Can you just walk us through your trick? What were you doing?
I do it just bar, ice, hard. I'm super stoked for it.
Did you plan your trick, or did you just go for it and just saw how the track is and how it's going to go?
I won't try it on the second try, bar to ice, but I got it just one bar, you know.
I mean, amazing. Well done. So this is your first simple session experience. Can we expect you to come back?
Maybe in winter.
So winter session, you have this in your agenda?
Yeah. See you there. Ciao.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Thule. Amazing. We're loving the action out here. We are going to take a look at the recap from Heat 2. We've had a score mix-up with Max Szuprina doing super well, bumping himself up into third. Here we go, taking a look at some slow-mo replays from Heat 2.
Oh, I love this right here. This is the bar spin to ice pick. Hard way, 180 out. Boom, he knows it.
He's going to hope someone filmed that.
Oh, man. Unfortunately for Marek, had to let that one down a little bit. But for the crowd, he sends the 540. It's funny how he can spin like that. Jerry just wanting a little bit more. I love this right here. 180 on, 360 off.
Really just pulling that final 180 round. So let's take a look at the standings out here today. So Kristaps still holding that top spot. Yuri taking the second spot with 147. And Gaspar Gwendoline taking the third place spot with Max Szuprina in fourth.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see the local guy still on the top of the leaderboard like that. And now we see the importance of getting a good run and also getting a good best trick. You have to have both in order to be on top of that leaderboard.
And the worst place he can finish today, absolute worst, is fifth. Now we have seen a number of the guys hitting a variety of lines around this park. It's not been people hitting the course in the same direction at all. Chris, can you take us through with your trusty iPad that you have over there in slightly American football style, some of the lines when we get this up on the screen in just a moment?
It'll be my pleasure. I mean, we take a look at the beautiful park that we have here at the Simple Session right now.
It really does just show the amazing park. And yeah, we head over to a fully bird's eye view. Chris, take it away.
Yeah, and you see a lot of guys, most guys start over here. They like to hit the volcano, they hit the rails, and they like to do a lot of manuals here. And manuals to grinds to 180 out. And you see a lot of guys starting over here as well, up the rails, a lot of manuals, and then down these rails over here as well. And then we saw Gaspar really focusing a lot on the ledges. But it's like we said, in this next heat in particular, watch how much ground a lot of these guys cover. You're going to see guys like Reed Stark covering from like here to here in record time. I mean, he goes so fast. It's going to be really fun to watch. And watch a guy like Nathan Williams, who I don't want to give too much away, but he has a line that cuts across the course and down this ledge here, and it's really fast, it's really accurate, it's everything you want to see out of a rider like Nathan Williams. But really, I mean, if you're watching at home, don't pay attention to the bowl, because the bowl, a lot of these guys aren't riding the bowl. This is all about the streets here. And I just want to, you know, if people want to hit, there's a little rail right here, which is kind of hard to see, and you're going to see guys stalling up on this rail too.
Yeah, we did see Reed Stark having a go at that in practice, and he was getting some pretty special stuff up there on that rail.
Yeah, and watch out for a guy like Reed Stark, who's just going to cover so much ground on this course. I mean, if you had a timer, I mean, you see how fast he's actually going.
And speaking of Reed Stark, you guys actually went out and hit some street to look at the two different sides of BMX Street, having a session with your friends and a contest.
If BMX was a hot dog, filming would be the ketchup.
Yeah, pretty much my whole riding career has just been filming, filming and shooting photos. The team will, they'll send us out to a random city, and we're there for 2 weeks or so with a filmer and photographer, and it's like, all right, boys, film a video. And we just wake up every day, get breakfast, and cruise around and find things that excite us.
I'm a competitive person by nature, but competitive with myself first and foremost. And filming is where you can really go to battle with yourself and turn that into something that's really spectacular if you have the drive and the willingness and the patience to sit at a spot for hours and really battle with a trick.
Difference between competing and filming is it takes a lot more planning because you need to put together like a full run, whereas street is pretty much just like, for me, like 1 or 2 things in a row. It's not like 8 things in a row. It's just like bang, bang, and then you're done.
You have to be able to land everything in 45 seconds or a minute. It's not an internal battle anymore like I was talking about. It's now a battle against the clock. It's a battle against the other riders. It's a battle against the judges. It's a battle against everything. The most challenging part is just keeping your breath for a minute. That's the hardest part.
The hardest part about contests for me is just stamina, because when you're riding street, you're mostly pedaling around the city and you're not actually exerting that much force all the time. It's not like banger, banger, banger. And then in a contest, it's pedal as fast as you possibly can, do this, turn around, and rip it again.
Yeah!
So we obviously saw the guys getting a session. In just a moment, we are going to head to Heat 3, but before that, we have a quick commercial break. Welcome back, Simple Session, Simple Summer Session, 2018. We have seen 2 BMX Street final jams going down right now, but we have Heat 3 ready to go, and these are our top place qualifiers, Chris.
Yeah, it's time for the bangers. I mean, it's go time. And we have Nathan Williams, Reed Stark, Travis Hughes, Courage Adams. I mean, these guys really put on in qualifying, and these guys are some really reputable street professionals right now. It's going to be a really fun contest to watch here. I can't wait. I mean, just like Reed and Nathan alone, I mean, those guys are so well accomplished, but then you have like the newcomers like Courage and Travis Hughes. I mean, this is going to be good.
I mean, we have been referencing these 4 guys all day. They've been in different VT sections we've shot here, different videos. They are about to throw down in live contest form, and this is Nathan Williams. He kind of needs no introduction, really. As you've said, he's your rider's favorite rider, your favorite rider's favorite rider. He's a bit of a living legend, and he is coming in for his first run. And he has a really unique line as well that he's putting out, like you were saying.
Oh, yeah, and I hope I didn't call him out too much, but I mean, he's got some lines around this course that are pretty cool to watch. He goes really fast. He takes a lot of chances. He's the Nora Cup Street Rider of the Year. Check him out. Oh, up and over that rail, looking like he wanted a bar spin out. Rail ride to 180. You know, he definitely wanted that bar spin out of there, but he's still going. He's keeping his run going. Showing that nose over to toothpick. 360 up the gap. And this is where he starts to turn it on a little bit more. Getting some speed going. Look at him cranking across the course. Huge gap to nose wheelie down the ledge. So awesome. We saw him do that last night, and that's a lot of the reason why he's qualified as high as he did. Crooked grind up, looking like he wanted a little bar spin out of that. Tooth up and over. He's really got a good run going. I know he's done a few things that he's not as happy with, but he's got a good run going. He's slowing down a little bit. He's trying to catch his breath. There's that 180 crooked grind with 180 out. got about 10 seconds left. Showing you that can-can foot jam. You know, if he can hold it together here, he's got a nice solid run. That was an opposite ice pick grind. He's doing it on his more uncomfortable side of his bike. So pretty good showing for a first run from Mr. Nathan Williams.
Especially considering as well, he is very well known as a video park guy. To come out and be able to put contest runs down like that, it's rare that you get people that can kind of serve both purposes.
Well, I've already said that he was the Nora Cup Street Rider of the Year, but he also won Nora Cup Video Part of the Year. And it's for reasons like that huge gap to nose wheelie down the ledge. Oh man, it's so good to see it.
Reed giving him some props there. That gets a 70. That is a way to open up the final jam. That kind of sets the precedent. Like, hey guys, this is how we're doing things right now.
Right, and as far as a first run, that might be the best first run we've seen this entire contest.
So, feels like I'm just going to be calling out heavy hitter after heavy hitter here. Up for a second guy to come in. Needs absolutely no introduction. Reed Stark. He got a kendama jam going yesterday. If you don't know what that is, it's this thing here.
Oh man, he's giving it to someone in the crowd. Someone just got themselves a souvenir.
I don't know if he brought loads with him, because loads of people in the crowd ended up with them yesterday, and he ended up having a jam with them out in the audience. I was asking him who he kind of liked out here, who he thought was going to be kind of the guy that might take it, and he was saying, to be honest, I'm friends with everyone, so I don't want to call, but I really like the look of Courage Adams. But obviously, he is a contender himself.
Yeah, he really is. He's a really nice guy. He is friends with just about everyone out here.
And as you say, he's going to hit this course the fastest of anyone.
First guy we've seen up and on that rail. You know, I think typically he likes to come in fakie out of that one, but you know what? He keeps it going, showing you the over ice pick. That's an opposite ice pick for him.
I think we did see him fall on that ice pick to fakie in the practice, so maybe he's just thinking, okay, consistent first run, he's playing the game.
Yeah, get this first run, maybe have some fun with your second, take a little bit more chances. He's getting the speed going. Where's he going with this one? Ice pick, bonk up, and then he gaps over the entire manual pad there. That's a really cool, he's the only guy doing that. Really cool trick.
And when you've got that speed, often I think it can be hard to kind of get a lot of tricks in, but he's managing it. Like that massive gap to double peg. Oh my gosh, just losing it in the bowl.
Well, he's the first rider we've seen go into the bowl. He had a great street riding, part going on there. I mean, he was covering a lot of speed. He's getting me tongue-tied and twisted. He's wearing some leopard skin shorts, showing you that ice pick grind. Up and over to Smith. And this huge gap to double peg. And then he was just eyes on the bowl from there. We haven't seen anyone go into the bowl. It got me a little bit confused, but a good showing from Reed Stark. I know he wants a little bit more out of that run. We saw him put together a similar run in qualifying, so we know he's capable of a little bit more. But what was he doing in the bowl? I guess we're going to have to wait and see for a second run if he goes back in there.
It does unfortunately look like the slight fall in the bowl as well did hurt him a little. 67.25, but I mean, it's a good base point for him to build from now. And we have our next guy, Travis Hughes, stood ready to go down on course right now.
Well, Travis Hughes is the California kid. He has a cousin who is also a professional bike rider, Mr. Jacob Cable, who's coming off a couple different injuries right now. So Travis is out here. He's wearing gym shorts, and he's just looking really comfortable. He looks really casual. When he does his tricks, it looks like he's not even trying sometimes.
And he's not necessarily the most outspoken person down there, is he? He's super humble, and he just kind of lets his riding do the talking.
Yeah, he's very quiet. But yeah, like you said, he lets his riding do the talking, and he's a tech wizard. Oh, going for that manual. Looked like he wanted the opposite bar spin out. Didn't quite get it. There's that 540 to fakie. Check this out. Huge double peg grind to hard way, 360 out. And he's a young man, but I mean, he's built, he's 210 pounds. So he's got a lot of strength behind his riding. Feeble up, bar spin to Smith to manual. Keeping the link going. Going over double peg to 180. Wow, that was a great link right there.
Just pulling that fakey bar spin at the end there. I mean, he was speaking to Thule earlier, and he was saying this park reminds him of the Huntington Beach Park.
Yeah,
which I can see the comparison there, and that's his local park. So I guess he just kind of feels at home here.
Yeah, well, he feels at home in the warm sunshine. So like riding a plaza like this, I mean, it's got to feel very homely to him.
Just coming off at the end there. For the crowd, much appreciating Travis Hughes. He was saying as well, he's not usually the guy that kind of does that well. So he's just kind of coming out into qualifiers, making it into the finals. And he's just kind of going for it. He's just seeing what he can get out there. And he did qualify in second.
Yeah, and you know that he wanted a little bit more out of that manual. He just kind of did the bar hump and had to settle for it. But he'll be back for run number 2. Remember, only one of these runs counts. Their highest run is the one that counts.
Absolutely. And getting a great score for that. That's a 72.25. Remember, of course, he is showing as ranked 9th at the moment because obviously his best trick score hasn't yet been added to that. So it's kind of hard to gauge because you have to look at each individual score to really see where you're stacking up against the other riders.
Yeah, and you know, that's a good first run score, so he can kind of play around maybe with his second run and maybe, you know, set the bar a little bit higher. But I mean, look who we have in front of us right now, Mr. Courage Adams, our first place qualifier. Watch the balance, ladies and gentlemen. Watch a lot of manuals, a lot of nose wheelies, and he'll link tricks in between the manuals and the nose wheelies. And I don't want to confuse you too much right now, but you'll see what I'm saying. This is going to be really impressive.
And Chris, you kind of picked him out as your guy, and you were going wild for him. I was sat by you, and you were just like, yup, this is the guy in qualifiers. He just linked it all together, and we're really hoping he can do the same right now.
Well, I'm just another fan. I just love watching him ride. I love the nose wheelies. Check him out. Nose wheelie. Smith nose to bars. Oh, and he goes off course. No. Oh, man. Not the start he wants right now.
Hopefully he can pull this back because he has looked incredible all weekend. Like I say, Reed Stark, I was speaking to him and he picked him out. He was like, Courage is tearing it.
Well, you know, I mean, Courage is a guy we see at a lot of simple sessions, and he's good at making the finals, but sometimes the pressure gets to him. Sometimes in the finals he might have a little bit more troubles than he does in qualifying, but I would love to see him put it together here today. But I mean, he does have a reputation for kind of buckling a little bit in the finals, but he's put his feet down a lot, which is very uncharacteristic of him.
Yeah, this is not quite the Courage Adams we saw yesterday, but we're hoping, you know, he's smiling. Hopefully he is kind of just enjoying his time out there and won't let that first run affect him too much. Yeah, he's just waving that one away.
But on that first hit, if the course was just a little bit wider there, he would have really hit that, and it might have just set his whole run in a whole different direction. But sometimes you miss a beat, you lose the rhythm.
This is it. So yeah, just looking at some slow-mo replays here of Courage Adams' first run that we're hoping will be a throwaway because he's going to come out and be flawless in the second run.
Well, you know what? That still could be a good score. The judges seem to really appreciate everything that Courage does.
I mean, it's a 66.75. It's a solid score, but I mean, we've just seen Travis come out with a 72.
That's true.
It's not quite going to make the mark out there today. So Courage is going to want to up that for sure. But we are going to head back to the top of the list for our second run. We have Nathan Williams already in, having scored a 70 on his first run. Oh, probably wanting to throw the bars on that one, huh?
He wants that bar spin over the rail. And he's doing that rail ride to 180 like it's nothing, but trust me, ladies and gentlemen, that is very difficult. Going nose over the rail to toothpick bonk, showing you the 360 up the little Euro gap there. And I don't know, I think Nathan's a little bit tired after that first run. He's coming back at this, got the speed going.
He's got a 70 on the board. He's in a great position. And he is the kind of guy where, you know, when we video parts, this one trick really does kind of lend itself to his style.
Yeah, for best trick, if he gets 3 chances at it, there's no telling what a guy like Nathan could come up with. I mean, he is like a best trick type of guy. I mean, you should see some of his video parts. They are just like 3.5 minutes of the best tricks, of like never been done before. Like he's just that type of rider. So I'm really interested to see him in the best trick competition.
And I think maybe a smart move as well there. He knew, he was like, this isn't going to bet my first run. I don't necessarily need to try and finish this. So he kind of pulls out 20 seconds before the end because maybe he is thinking, right, okay, I just need to focus on my best trick right now and see if I can get a really good score on the board there.
Yeah, definitely.
So, our next guy in. Where's he at? The first we may see of him is going 100 miles an hour across the park. Reed Stark
is dropping in. You can see him ice pick grind across this rail, ice pick grind, or ice pick stall up on the rail. Comes back in faking, he pulls it.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Adjusts the sunglasses a little bit, gets the hair out of his face, and the run is on right now. And this guy is tough as nails. I mean, he rolled his ankle at the winter simple session back in Estonia, and he still did this humongous wall ride from like coast to coast. It was really impressive. I mean, he's a skinny guy, he's a thin guy, but this guy is tough.
Yeah, and I mean, it's worth noting he's had a lot of simple session success in the past. I mean, he got 4th in 2018 in Estonia and 2nd in 2017.
Yeah.
So he must be out here feeling confident.
Oh yeah, he's feeling confident. You have to be confident to do that ice pick bonk up the pole jam and then gap across the entire manual pad like that, and then that huge gap to double peg, and he's back in the bowl. This is where we lost him the first time, and he's out. First guy we've seen going in and out of the bowl. I don't know how the judges are going to judge that, but you know what? So far, the speed and the creativity is all there. That's a gap to opposite feeble. Oh, that was a good run. That was a good run, James.
That is going to be an improvement on his first run score. Yeah, he's high-fiving Courage and Travis. Nathan giving him props as he goes by as well. Yeah, that's going to be an improvement for sure. Let's take a look at some of the slow-mos.
Oh, I love this right here. Ice pick on the rail, coming in fakie. That's so hard to start a run like that where you're coming in fakie because you have to turn it back around and then get the speed going. Up and over with that Smith grind. I wish we could see him jump back in and out of the bowl again, but you know what? I think that's a good score.
There we go, a 70.75. He ups it there by over 3 points, which he'll be happy with, as you can see. Just having a celebration on his own by the side. And he's the kind of guy that, yeah, can really just throw down some incredible tricks. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but I know that he can do more out of that ice pick up on the back barrier as well.
You're absolutely correct. Up next is the California kid, Travis Hughes, Mr. Casual. It's got a 72.25 right now. He can only get better from there.
This is it, and I mean, Travis was saying, like I said, he was saying, oh, no, I'm not that guy that comes out and does well in finals. But he's completely contradicting that right now.
Look how casual he looks. There's that 180 tail up over the volcano like that.
I mean, like usually as well, you're maybe like 175 or like 185 and you bring it back in. That was perfect 180 degrees.
Oh, yeah. He's got a really good run. A couple things he messed up on his first run, he's gotten in the second. Showing you that feeble to bar spin to Smith. You know, even though he messed up, I still love it. I mean, he put that hand down on the ground, and he's just out there having fun. And, I mean, that's really what it's all about.
Absolutely. He's going to take his first run score.
Yeah, 180 crooked grind. I mean, it almost looks like he 180 crooked grinded down that rail just as a way just to get down the stairs.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like, whatever. This is just my way of getting out. But hey, a good run up until that point where he moved over to that slightly less compact section. He's definitely going to take his first run score.
Yeah, but we shall see. I mean, with that first run score, if he can put together something big in the best trick, then he could possibly win this entire thing.
Absolutely. He is currently sat in a super strong position for that.
Oh, here's the man with the pressure on him right now, Mr. Courage Adams. There's that nose wheelie. Smith. There's that bar spin, and he stays on course this time. That's how you want to start a run. He's feeling it right now. Showing you that tooth hanger. There's that crank arm grind down the rail. A solid way to start a run right now, Courage. There's that 180 manual. Oh, and he pops it around.
Getting a little bit loose on that one, but just about.
He kept that front wheel up. Oh, man, this is a great run right now. I don't see a timer on my screen right now, but he is so far. He's killing it so far. Bar spin to manual. Bar spin to ice pick.
This.
Oh, double peg up and over.
This is what he wanted. Come on, hold on to it, Courage.
Oh. There's that nose wheelie. Check him out. He's in so much control. looking so good. 180 out of that feeble.
Is this the same run that we saw yesterday in qualifiers, or has he stepped it up right now, Chris?
I think he stepped it up a little bit. I didn't know that run could actually get any better, but that is a full pull from Courage Adams. Oh, man.
And even just managing to get that crank arm grind in at the end, that's just extra points that are just going to go on top of all of the insanity that he's just thrown down. All the guys going wild for that. I think, yeah, I mean, like you say, I don't want to call it, but I think that is going to be our highest run score.
The type of balance that Courage has is like equal to what like a flatlander would have, like someone that rides just parking lots all day. But I mean, he's doing it here on this course, and he's putting it down with a lot of consistency, and he's blending in a lot of different tricks. And they're showing us some of Reed right now, but oh my!
Wow, there we go. Head and shoulders above the rest of the field, 82.5. He is, of course, sat in 9th at the moment because he doesn't have a best trick score, but he's got himself in a ludicrously good position to take the win out here today. If he can just hold it together for this best trick session.
Yeah, and he's just showing the fans that, you know, what #1 looks like, and just out there, man, he's been killing it all weekend. And I'm really glad that he got that second run in, because you kind of feel bad for him on that first run because we know what he's capable of. So the fact that he got that second run with the pressure on is just a thing of beauty.
Yeah, and I think we're going to take a look at the standings right now. Yeah, we are. There we go. Kristaps, of course, still in first. Yuri in second. Gaspar in third. Max Shuprina in fourth. And yeah, the guys in heat 3 obviously down the bottom because they haven't posted a best trick score yet. But that is all about to get shaken up.
Yeah, and those guys are all heavy hitters. I mean, this is going to be the best of the best trick right now.
Yeah, and here we go. The crowd are going to be going wild for this. This is Nathan Williams. This best trick session really does lend itself to his style of riding, but he's put down a good contest run to back it up.
Check him out right here.
Wow.
Going over that gap, pulling hard way over the A-frame rail, landing in the wedge, picture perfect. He did it first try. Look at this. Pulls the hard way over that rail. I can guarantee you that's never been done at this skate park before.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he made that look so easy. And I got to comment,
nonchalant.
This is his first contest with a mustache, so I wonder if that's helping him very much right now.
Okay. Well, you say, you know, what was it? You ride how you feel, you feel how you look, or what was the saying you came up with earlier? Maybe the mustache. It's just he feels at home with that mustache.
Yeah, he's killing it this whole weekend. And he's working a lot of different video parts. Oh, and we got Reed Stark back on course. Lots of speed as we come to expect. There's that big gap to double to 180 out. Oh my gosh. Flawless on that. Huge gap to double peg on that rail. And then a big hard way 180 out. Pulls it picture perfect, sliding that front wheel around, and he is stoked.
You show Reed Stark in slow motion, and it almost looks like he's going the speed of a normal rider.
Yeah, and keep in mind, no one else is doing that gap to double peg.
He did almost clip it yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And anyone else would be terrified, but Reed rode off, like, laughing hysterically.
Yeah.
Whew. So Travis Hughes here has the opportunity to put in a good score and give himself a really good opportunity to get up onto the podium right now.
I mean, I can't wait to see what Travis has in his bag of tricks, because he can do pretty much every modern day street riding trick.
Here it is. We saw him trying to pull this in his run.
Oh, he's
oh my gosh, where are we going?
Oh man,
get that speed.
To tail whip
Oh my goodness. The look on his face is like, did I just do that?
Oh man, he went Smith up. Well, I'm sorry, I might have to see the slow-mo replay. That was like feeble up, bar spin, Smith. Okay, feeble up, bar spin, Smith, keeping the manual going. Over double peg, keeps the manual going. And it's almost like he's just looking for, where's my next obstacle? And then he sees this wedge, gonna keep this manual up, perfect pedal to pedal, tail up in.
I mean, a lot of guys would have gone safe there and just gone, okay, like, I'll just drop back into this bank, or maybe I'll throw the bars. And he's like, I'm gonna throw the whole bike and tail with this.
Yeah, and all three of the guys we've seen so far have pulled their first runs in best trick. So it's only gonna get better from here. I hope everyone's excited about this, because my palms are sweating right now, because these are some of the best BMX street riders in the world, and they're all just putting on a show for the fans here in Latvia.
And a guy that you're going to see potentially a similar trick from right now is Courage Adams, linking together the wildest combos out here today.
There's that nose wheelie. Keeping the manual up. Manual up and over the little A-frame wedge there. Oh, and he's still going.
We haven't seen him practice this.
No.
This has not been something he's been riding around practicing.
The manual's still up. Up to double. Oh!
No!
Oh, man. I think everyone here was holding their breath, just waiting to see where he was going to go. Oh, man, if he can iron that out, I don't know. That could be a first place. We'll have to wait and see.
He's sat on an 82. So he definitely has it to lose right now. If he can pull together something spectacular, it's in the bag. It's in the bag.
This whole thing started with a nose wheelie on a ledge, and he kept the manual going through so much, down the wedge, up the rail, double peg, and going for the opposite tail up. And he caught pedals, but he was a little bit leaned over. Oh, man, if he can get that, it's going to be really interesting, James.
I'd love to know the way his mind works, that he just stands at the top of the other end of the park and he goes, okay, so I'm going to go that way, that way, that way, come back round, up the rail, oppo whip off.
Yeah, I wish
just
I had...
Just piecing that together.
as a bike rider myself, I wish I had at least 10% of the balance that he has. That's such a gift that he has to be able to balance the bike like that.
Well, back to the top of the list for best trick attempt number 2. Bringing Nathan Williams back in. He's looking great right now out there. Ooh, okay.
Wow, well, we saw the hard way 180, and it looks like he wanted to step it up with the hard way 360 over that A-frame rail and into the wedge. Unfortunately, it looks like he got a weird pop. It's not a very long ledge that a long wedge that he's coming off of, so it's really tough to get the pop that you want when you're going that fast.
But how does a trick like that stack up against, for example, the trick that Travis just pulled? Because they're such different riding styles.
Yeah, have I told you that I'm happy that I'm not a judge? Because in my mind, they're both so difficult that it would be hard to score one against the other. But again, we have an expert panel here. They know what they're doing. Reed Stark is back on course. Oh, man, just having a...
just about running out of that one.
And you know what?
Wow.
I think the judges are going to give that to him because he did the gap to opposite feeble to 180. He pulled it around, and then it's like he just ran out of skate park.
Oh, yeah, sure. He just ran out of park, and obviously you don't want to head up that hill and hit that fence at that speed. At the speed that Reed is hitting everything at. So he comes around. Yeah, that's fine. Like, he just runs out of park. I'd be impressed if the judges see that as a fail.
But even still, is that harder than the trick that he did before? The big gap to double peg to 180, to hard way 180? We'll have to wait and see.
Varying levels of risk, I'd say, Chris.
Yes. Well, we saw the balance from Travis Hughes on his last run in best trick. I mean, what else is he going to do? I think he's just going to be improvising from here. I mean,
it wasn't typically the stuff that we saw Travis doing in his runs either, which I think counts for a lot. If you're one of those guys that pulls out a run and then your best trick selection is completely different, that variety counts for a lot.
Oh, he's doing that 180 crooked grind down the rail, looking like he wanted something out of it.
Yeah, he's not looking overly pleased with that. So I think
that is his pleased face, I must say. I mean, the kid he's calm as a cucumber, and he doesn't express a lot of emotion. So it's hard to say if he's upset or if he's happy, but you know he's going to want to come back on that third hit. But he's already sitting on a good one.
Now, Courage Adams. Are we going to see him attempt this trick again?
I think so. I think he wants this.
He is a kind of all-or-nothing kind of rider. He is going to go for the best thing he absolutely can. He's not going to come out with something easy just to get scores on the board. And there he puts quite a lot of pressure on himself. He is so far ahead in the run scores. He puts a lot of pressure on himself in that final best trick attempt now.
Well, he had the pressure on him to get that second run in the run comp there, so he nailed it there. Let's see if he can come back and do the pressure cooker again in his third hit for best trick.
Well, we move back to the top of the list for the final time in the final jam of the BMX Street Finals here. And Nathan just dropping the front wheel on that manual. but it's okay. He's torn it so far.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, obviously his best trick was that hard way 180 over the A-frame rail into the wedge. And to get that first try, I mean, he had to come up with something different, so he's just kind of freestyling out there, but yeah, it was an impressive showing today.
Absolutely. And in just a second, we will see what that hard 180 scores him, actually.
Oh, yes.
So, because the scores are only revealed at the end of the best trick jam.
Oh, so it's going to get real interesting. We got Reed Stark back on course, who's pulled his 2 best tricks so far. Go for the,
oh! I don't know if he was intending to go over there. We've seen him, we saw him earlier in practice go 270 back in off that.
Yeah, and I'm going to just guess that that's what he was going to go for.
I think so. I think he just got a little bit too upright on that, and maybe and then some. Ended up going over. I don't think he was going for the ice pick gap into the bowl.
No. But he's psyched. He's had such a good day today.
Well, you know, he was in a position where he could do that. He could absolutely just throw it out there on his final best trick attempt.
Yeah, and the handkerchief matches the shorts perfectly, and that's not a mistake, guys.
Which matches the pouch on his bike as well.
Yes, so he's coordinated, and he's cool, and he's done really well today. It's going to be interesting to see how the judges place him. If it were me, I'd put him in top 3, but again, I'm not a judge, so we'll have to wait and see.
We will find out. Travis Hughes coming in for his 3rd and final best trick attempt. Mr. Nonchalant.
Yeah. Yeah, just
waiting for the thumbs up there, I think.
Thinking about dinner right now, probably. Just you know, he's so calm. And that's kind of what you need in a competition format like this. You need to be calm. You can't get too excited, and you really just have to let your riding speak for itself sometimes.
Okay, so we're actually going to see Reed Stark's score here. So he jumps himself up to 4th in the best trick. He gets 74.75 and an overall score of 145.50. He's stoked with that. Nathan giving him props for that. We haven't yet seen Nathan's score, so we'll catch that, I'm guessing, at the end.
2 more riders left.
Travis just currently holding fire.
Okay, Travis.
So yeah, Travis Hughes, he has the run score of a 72.25, and he did pull out that absolutely mind-bending combo. So it's kind of, the world's his oyster right now.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he likes. He can really throw it out there and go for broke.
Yeah, and it's like I told you before, he's got so many tricks in his bag. I mean, I wouldn't want to even know what's going through his mind right now in the encyclopedia of tricks. There's that 180 crooked grind. Unfortunate.
Do you think he's going 3?
Me personally, I think he's coming into the crooked grind opposite way. So he's locking in opposite and he's pulling out regular. So I think that he wants to go bar spin.
Okay.
Me personally, but I'll have to find out from him a little bit later. So he's actually pulling, that's an opposite 180 for him. Crooked grind, and he's just not getting the pop that he wants.
Yeah, it does just look like that peg slipped slightly at the end, and he feels it, and he's just like, no, I'm not going to throw the bars. But hey, he can do that. He can do that. He's chilling.
Yeah.
He has an incredible run score, I'm sure. Best trick score to fall back on. Yes.
Oh, there he is.
There he is,
wow.
An 87.5. Yeah, he can't believe that. I mean, we can, but he can't believe that. 159.75, combining the 2 scores, putting himself up into that first place position. There is one guy left.
One guy left that could take it home.
That is very capable.
Could knock Travis Hughes off of that first place spot, and it's Mr. Courage Adams. This is a pressure cooker. He's got to pull this together in order to get that placing.
Here are the standings. So Travis Hughes currently in first. Kristaps has really held on to that, so the worst he's going to do is 3rd. We've got Yuri, and we've got Courage still to go. Courage could really upset that whole list right now.
Yes, he could. This is really exciting. This is like what you want to see out of a competition like this. You know, back against the wall, he's got to put it down. He could knock a few guys down off that leaderboard, so this is going to be really interesting to watch.
I mean, a victory run is all well and good, but it's more exciting to see it when there's that pressure and a rider really has to make it count. Because this is all or nothing for Courage right now.
And here we go. He's going to start with this nose wheelie again to manual. He's got to keep it going down that gap. He's got to keep it going up and down that A-frame wedge. Okay, he's up. He's different line here. And his front wheel has gone down. Settles for that feeble to hard way 360 up. Well, technically he pulled that trick until the front wheel went down, so that's going to have to count for his best trick.
He's going to get a score. He is definitely going to get a score. And he did have 10 more points than Travis's run. So we're kind of going to see, I think it's going to be hard for him to beat Travis out here today. But we'll find out in just a moment. The guys seem to think Travis has done it. It's not quite yet confirmed Jay getting in there.
Everybody's celebrating. That's J-Ro, the team manager.
Courage is happy for him as well. We'll see.
Wow, good for Travis Hughes. This is his first big, well, I'm not going to say it because it's not been announced yet, but I think the riders know it. I think the people know it. And, you know, this is his first big showing, really. And bad luck for Courage. Has to settle for the 9th place today.
Yeah, there we go. Courage Adams really putting together by far the best run out there today, but having to settle for 9th, just not quite getting it together in the best trick. But that confirms it, Chris. Travis Hughes, winner of the Simple Summer Session 2018 BMX Street Finals.
So amazing. He's so young and he's humble. This is his first big win on an international stage. So psyched for Travis Hughes right now. Taking a look at the leaderboard here. We got Travis Hughes in first. The local boy, Kristaps, getting 2nd place, and Jiri Blabel coming in 3rd. What a podium we have. I mean, we have the American, the Latvian, the Russian. It's really cool to see that.
Those guys are going to be so pleased to have held on, and the international guys really getting in the mix there with the European guys. So what an incredible contest we've had out there today. We'll be back in just a moment. We're just going to take a real quick commercial break. So there we have it. We've got the results from Simple Summer Session 2018. Travis Hughes coming out on top. But how crazy, just how crazy was that contest, Chris?
Well, that was a great Simple Summer Session for 2018. I mean, we had people from all over the world here riding their best and really putting on a good show for the people here in Latvia. I'm so excited for Mr. Travis Hughes. I've traveled with this guy a lot, and it's awesome to see him standing on his first podium in 1st place. I mean, this is great. He's going to be taking this home to California with the bragging rights, and man, just couldn't be more happy for Travis right now.
Yeah, I think he's probably happier than he's showing as well.
Yeah, he's Mr. Calm and cool, but yeah, I think deep down he's pretty excited about it.
And speaking of Travis, we have Thule down on course, ready to catch up with him just to hear how he's feeling after taking the win.
Congratulations, Travis! Simple Summer Session 2018 winner. I mean, we had a chat before and you didn't believe it. So, I mean, it must feel amazing after all these years going to Simple Session.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't even really know what to say right now. I'm kind of speechless. Thank you.
So if you need to walk us through your run, like tell us what went on, like what were you doing? Why did you win?
I don't know. I just dropped in and tried to block out everything, and it worked, kind of. So I don't know. I'm just stoked to be out here, and shout out to Riga for holding it down. It's super sick out here.
So what's going to be next? You're going to win the winter session?
No, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This never happens, but I'm super stoked.
Okay. Is there anything you want to say to all the other riders and about the whole competition?
Everyone killed it. Thank you, everyone, for everything. Riga held it down. This has been amazing, and I can't believe this is happening.
Well, again, congratulations. You did such a good job. Such a good competition.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Thule. Great to hear from Travis down there. He must be so stoked. But how good was it, Chris, that it really just came down to that final run?
Yeah, and talk about just a pressure cooker for Mr. Courage Adams, and unfortunate for him not to be able to pull that line the way that he wanted to. But yeah, I mean, Travis looked like he was just kind of a kid out there having fun on the park, and he was really improvising a lot with his riding and really put on an amazing showing here today.
And I mean, the podium, like you were saying, we see a couple of European guys making the podium, which this contest undeniably opens the door for the European riders out here, right?
Yeah, I mean, Kristaps Romanis in second place. I mean, that's huge for a local guy to be in his home country, and he's going to be standing on the podium with the talented top three that we have. It's incredible.
That crowd is going to go crazy when he gets up there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think you'll see a few tears in the crowd, perhaps.
An emotional experience, but it's great. It is really great to see, as a European rider myself, just to see how much Simple Session offers these European guys, and it's really, really paying off. I think we're heading over to the awards right now. Yeah, here we go. Max Schuprina getting a bit of cash out there today.
And there is an after party that all of these guys will be at this evening, and you know that you know, Travis and the rest of the guys will be having a good time. Mr. Reed Stark, who put on a great show for the people in Latvia here today.
Coming out with the most speed of any of the riders out here today.
He's like everyone's best friend out there.
So now, all the way from Argentina, sitting in the 4th position. We're happy to have him.
And let's not forget about Jiri too. Jiri coming in 3rd place, the guy with all the power and the pop. And we have Gaspar.
Well, he didn't have the easiest time getting there as well, you know. He really he did have to work to get that podium.
Yeah, most definitely. Good to see Gaspar in the mix as well. Came to us from Argentina, and you know, one of our top qualifiers, and you know, rode the contest in a button-up shirt, which I really enjoy.
But yeah, representing that corner of the world out here in Europe, really, really pleased to see that.
And here comes Jiri.
Here we go.
Coming for his 3rd place medal. He's got to be really excited because he's a relatively newcomer. He's on his way up, and to get 3rd place, to get a podium in a huge international competition such as this, that means a lot.
Absolutely, and I mean this in absolutely no disrespect to him. There's guys in there that you would probably expect to be on podium that he has pushed out to make it up to that 3rd place position.
Yeah. So he's got the bronze medal around his neck and a gold chain around his neck too, but that belongs to him. Well, I guess the bronze medal does too, but yeah.
It looks like he can't quite believe it. He's like patting his chest, like.
And Kristaps, the local guy, amazing. And he came out of that first heat too. So for him to be able to hang on to that score and really hold it down, it's pretty impressive there.
And now we have seen this amazing combo he did in the best trick challenge. I don't need to say any words. So get loud.
So there's only one more rider left to come out, right, Chris?
Yeah, it's Travis.
And that is, of course, Travis Hughes. Absolutely putting it down today. Just, can you put into words just how crazy Travis's ride was today?
What an amazing ride.
Well, it was just flawless. I mean, you know, he went out there, he made things look easy, he rode really casual, he did the hard tricks, and he covered a lot of ground, he had creative lines. He really had the whole package that you need in order to do well at Simple Session.
We're getting a bit of a smile from Travis.
Oh, here comes the champagne. I don't think Travis is old enough to drink, but he's going to go for it anyways.
We'll keep quiet, we'll keep quiet. There we go. Need to shake it up. Oh, it's cool. It worked anyway. We're all good. Cheers. And there we go. There you have it. Your Simple Summer Session 2018 podium with Travis Hughes in 1st place. The quiet guy that you might not have necessarily tipped before this contest to be stood up there, but extremely deserved.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, the champagne is dripping off his face, and he deserves it. You know, that was some fantastic riding, giving Reed Stark a little bit of a taste.
Reed starting as he means to go on for this evening, I think. And there we go. Getting some of those press pictures taken. Just kind of soaking it all up. Man, I wonder if he can like quite believe what's just happened. So I believe in a moment's time, we're about to see some highlights of Travis from his winning runs and best trick. But just before that, we would like to plug another incredible event coming up. We've, of course, got Crankworks with the dual speed and style contest. In this head-to-head race, the fastest timed rider wins, but you need style to your speed. Riders earn a time credit by adding slopestyle tricks mid-race. Fresh blood and seasoned pros race side by side to determine the winner in the last race of the season. We've seen 3 races this season with 3 different winners. Can Adrian Lauren repeat his 2017 win, Chris? Who knows? It's going to be all to ride for.
That looks like it's a lot of fun to watch.
I believe so. It's fast, and you've got the freestyle element. Not to be missed on Red Bull TV. So the guys down there currently celebrating, and we are going to take a look at the Travis Hughes highlights. Great shots of that there. Travis celebrating with the guys. Jay getting in there. Travis, the winner of Simple Summer Session 2018. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. I've been James Threlfall, joined by BMX legend Chris Doyle. We will catch you at Simple Session in Estonia in February.